Two, one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Airing Out Podcast live. I'm your host, Dustin Marion. He is my partner in crime, Hollow Clutch. But before we bring him in, please, if you like it, like it. If you love it, keep following us.
Hmm.
Oops, I almost dropped the ball there. It's been a
Hmm.
little bit. We're trying to get this custom URL. Please reach us out on all our handles. And without further ado, my man Hollow, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? It's been a while. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's safe. And I'm excited.
This
What's been going
meeting
on?
is being recorded.
Goodness, look at that. Uh, what's been going on with you lately? You said it was an okay day. The week has been pretty decent, or what?
Yeah, the week's pretty good. It was a rainy Memorial Day weekend here.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even. It's so funny. I just been dealing with stuff. How was the memorial thing? Is that even a thing?
It was just raining the whole time,
Yeah.
and supposedly they were opening some things up. Like it was kind of like the official start of summer, and people were like out and about. In other places that it was nice from what I saw, on social media. But that's about it. I think just people are just over everything and are ready to be out in the streets.
Did you stay home the whole weekend, or did you go to at least a family's house and stuff? Or no?
It was raining the whole weekend, but we went to Cracker Barrel for the first time, and that was pretty dope.
What's
That
the
was,
Cracker Barrel? Is
it's
that the,
it's
the
like
store? The
it's
shop?
like it's like a southern IHOP kind of thing.
Okay, all right. And that was where, downtown or in YO?
And no, it was further up. It was like an hour and a half away.
Wow. So you guys did like a day tour, and you took the whole team and the missus. That's it.
Yeah, we just went us, and then it was like an hour wait. Like that's how packed the place was. So like we
Wow.
drove an hour and then an hour wait. So,
Damn.
but
That's
but they think they slick though. So what they do is right, they have a shop like a gift shop where you
uh
where you
Let's
could wait.
buy stuff. Let's buy stuff.
So you end up the food is mad cheap. Like those four of us, I paid like $70 for all four of us to eat. Yeah, steak, chicken, biscuits, pancakes, the whole works. And she came out like $70. But then you go and with the money you spend in the gift shop, next thing you know, you spend 250, almost 300,
In the gift shop?
because you bought like I bought a cast iron pan. It was like 40
Oh,
bucks.
okay, they got food, they got grocery. Okay,
Yeah,
that's really smart. Put
exactly.
a retail store inside of a restaurant that way, and then to make you wait. So you're like, damn, and people got a little extra money, even though they're starting to cut off that 300 extra. Wow, that's that sounds like fun. I didn't do shit. We didn't do we didn't do anything. It was nice, but I had too many house guests to get anything going down. It's been a zoo. Hey, I was thinking. I just seen it before we get into the the fist fighting. I just seen that Call updated some of this stuff. Were you excited about the '80s thing?
No, did nothing. Did absolutely nothing.
So
They
that,
added like a one building and that was it. And Rambo and John McClane. That's it.
damn, they just be taking fools for everything.
I haven't spent any money on the season. Like besides just getting a battle pass, I haven't no skins, no nothing.
What about the battle pass? Just gets you if you every time you pass, you get all that stuff along the way.
Yeah. So you pay $10 and then you get like whatever like five, six skins and then whatever gun skins and then whatever like little like XP and shit like that. And then you get like maybe like $4 worth of stuff back, like in their money. So it's like if you don't spend money on anything else, it's worth getting just because the value of skins, five, six skins is like 60, $70. So for $10 is okay, and then whatever gun skins you get. But like them being lazy, just I'm not about it. Like I like for the most part, I just started playing Call of Duty again the last couple of days. But before that, I was playing an Apex for the last like 2 weeks almost, because it's like you can't keep wasting your time when they don't even care about the community and they're not even trying to change anything drastically. Not even put an anti-cheat. Still got cheaters in there. It's like crazy.
Well, the thing is that they made the money. I mean, they don't really got to rock the boat, right? There's nothing that's like compelling them. I mean, who knows with Apex? I thought that these guys were gonna take them out. I keep forgetting the name of this game, Fortnite. I thought Fortnite was gonna take down
Well,
Call.
Fortnite's still king.
I got that. I know that, but still, Call of Duty's getting paid too. It's not
Well,
like they don't have
the
money.
the thing is that in Fortnite, people who play Call of Duty or they were playing people who play PUBG, they didn't like those people didn't want to translate and try to learn how to play the mechanics of Fortnite. Fortnite takes way more skill than Call of Duty does, like
Really?
1,000 times more, because you have to build like shit and fight, and the Call of Duty is just fighting. So it takes a lot of skill in Fortnite, and
So basically, you're like making guns on the fly type of shit while
They-
you're like shooting people down.
like you could build like a kind of like you could build like a quick fort. So you can put walls up, build a ramp.
Fortnite.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. I've never played the game.
Yeah, it's a hard game to play, but once you get to, you understand why it was so dope. Like it added an extra element to something that people always wanted something different about. So you always gotta be like, oh, people always complain like, people was like, oh, I want a different Call of Duty. I want something different in Call of Duty. I want something different in Call of Duty. And then they did something different to Call of Duty in Black Ops 3 when you could run on the walls and fly and shit. But then people bitched about, oh, what the fuck is the people running on the walls and flying? Like, you can't demand change, and then when there's change, you complain about the change. So a lot of people who didn't want to get better at Fortnite, they just complained about it, and bitched about it. Oh, this game is whack. Who wants to build a fort? Why don't you just fight with your guns? Like little, like soft people
Whiny
just
baby.
bitching. Yeah, yeah,
Why-
just and then people just didn't want to take the time to learn how to get good at the game. Because you had other people who excelled at the game, and you get fucking shit on. Oh, this shit is whack, and then just leave because it was too difficult, and they didn't want to take the time to learn how to be at least somewhat decent at building aspect. Because the main part of that game is building. You have to build, and then you worry about shooting after.
So there's like pieces and stuff all over the map that you got to pick up to build your fort. Is that how
Yeah.
that works? 'Cause I
So
don't-
you gotta
I- It is.
kind of.
Fortnite, but I just thought it was like a first person shooter and that was it.
Nah, it's a third person. First of all, it's a third person
sorry.
shooter,
Oh,
and
that's
then
what I meant. My apologies. Yes.
and then you gotta chop down wood, rocks, metal, and stuff like that. So
How you kill it?
yeah,
Doesn't those rooms have like 150 people in there?
exactly.
And you're doing all that shit with all those motherfuckers trying to get at you?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of sick on the low.
That shit was fun. That shit was OD fun. I loved it. I loved it. Where they messed up in the game was that they spread the community too thin. So what they did was, instead of like, you have solos, duos, trios, and quads, and then they did a ranked mode of solo, duo, trios, and quads. So right there, that's 8 categories, and then you have another category, the LTM mode, which is like, it'll be like rockets only, or flying cars,
Only, yeah. Like, okay.
or like a specific mode will change every week. So that's 9 categories.
So damn, Call of Duty's been stealing a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jesus. Keep going.
And then what happens? They did a creative mode, kind of a Roblox, Minecraft, Sims kind of world where you can go make your own entire world and invite all your friends to go to your world. So now you have a lot of these kids that, instead of we're going straight into quads like in the beginning, you have the entire community spread now. So now you have 70, 80, 100 kids in each server, and let's say it's 10,000 servers. You have all these kids, 100,000 kids who would have been in public matches, now in private servers, not in. So now what they had to do is implement AIs, bots, in the regular mode because it wasn't filling lobbies enough. So that's what it kind of like killed the game. They spread the game too thin, in my opinion. And then
Wow.
creative mode damaged the game in the sense that it made kids get good really quickly
At building.
at building. So like whenever you get a chance, just go to YouTube and put best Fortnite builder, and you'll be like, what the fuck is this?
I'm gonna
Like-
watch it. Watch it.
Like that's how intense it is.
Next week we're gonna try to figure out how to get another screen up in here, like you do, because we gotta put up some computer graphics and some videos. Try to get kicked off of YouTube faster, but that's crazy. Now all of those videos make sense to me, and I'm like, why is this guy fighting in this house? There's only him and the guy. So I never got it. I just, what it is I think that Fortnite's amazing. I think Fortnite brings in a younger audience to that style of play. But for me, I'm just like, because I just pick it up and put it down, I guess call is easier. And I just I'm tired of having to learn more button combinations and fucking layouts and more guns and more downloads and all this other shit. I'm just like taking it easy. But I kind of like the 80s shit. They should have did more with it. I feel like they should have like released like 10 characters, of cool 80s shit. They could have did a couple of like horror guys. They could have did a couple of action guys. Like there's so much that they could do. And then I think they only gave you guys like Nakatomi Plaza, right? Within the map. And what does that mean? It's just with the way it looks, right? There's nothing special about it, right?
It's in the building. You could go in the building and run around and shit.
Great. That's not it. What else we got?
But that's
There's
it.
Specifically for that shit.
No, you have. It's in all the modes.
Yeah,
but
see,
the thing is, like, why not make the entire thing at 8? Why didn't you go back to like a Vietnam kind of thing, or like go into have a jungle theme map? They should have done that. No, go back just 20 years to the same map, the same area. Like you're just showing us parts of the map that's not built yet.
I feel like they put all of their nuts in the new version versus the old one. It's almost like they're like forgetting about I don't even know how to. There's so many names of these fucking games.
I think they just got greedy.
Yeah,
and to me that's all it is. But I don't, like I said, I think we spoke about this a couple weeks ago. Like, who is not like in the office like in your office meetings? When you're sitting down, you're like, oh shit, guys, we made $10 billion, right? Profit. Or whatever. $2-3 billion profit. I guess what? The community wants X, Y, and Z. And if we do X, Y, and Z, we could make another $3 to $5 billion in profit. How about we do that? And some fucking
thing, you can say the same thing for the movie industry, right? Like there's so many things that they don't have to fuck up, and you can give the guy the gold and they're like, nah, we're gonna stick with the sauce that we know works. It's worked. They got us our first billion. Let's not fucking deviate from the flight plan. I wanna get into this because I can't believe this happened. I've been saying this the whole fucking time. I've been banging on my chest about this, that I don't understand why more of these leaders weren't accountable during this whole situation. But apparently, and you'll tell me more about it, but Fauci now comes out and talks about he knew this, he knew that, and now I guess what, he's gonna be backtracking this. I mean, like, how are people not being? I don't even know. Can you press charges against somebody in this fashion? But this is crazy how divided this country was, even from a political and leadership standpoint.
So all right. So what happened is that there's you have the Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
So the Freedom of Information Act is you can go and request documents that the government goes and says you can get information on.
You can or you can't?
You can. So like you have the top secret shit where it's not released yet, and then you have the shit that, all right, we're gonna release this, and you have the right as a citizen to go and get the information. So what happened was somebody went and got the information to get Fauci's emails through the Freedom of Information Act, because since he's part of the NIH, he's the lead guy there. So in his emails, this is fucking irks my life because I've been on the right side of this.
I know you've been hot about it. So we gotta dig in more, because potentially, no matter what you say, this costs lives. These decisions.
Correct. So I want to break down several things, because like I was having this conversation with my girl and having conversations with other people. So
you're warmed up.
So
I'm here fresh.
So right now, he got email saying, "Hey, listen, retail masks don't work. So those cloth masks don't work."
We've been saying that shit for a long time.
For a long ass time. So
I've been in that program too. People make fun of me for wearing the doctor ones. They're like, that costs too much. Anyway, go ahead.
So like if you didn't have an N95 mask,
right, that shit is not gonna work. Basically,
any other cloth mask, and then if you had a bandana, that was even more laughable. Like it's basically wearing nothing. And you see,
to clarify, because I've seen videos. You're talking about you wearing a cloth mask. The shit's still getting through. Correct? Right? You wearing a cowboy fucking mask, which is a bandana, you're still spreading COVID. I just want to make sure for the record. All right, continue, please.
Correct. Also, asymptomatic people aren't like what people think of as carriers.
Okay, so
explain. If you were asymptomatic, you were not contagious.
Yeah, let me try to wrap my head around that. Say that again so we could do it.
So basically, like if you test positive for COVID, right?
Got that part. Boom.
You're not contagious
Wow.
because
That's
obviously you
go ahead. Keep going. Obviously.
so because obviously you're not experiencing symptoms. You have no fever, no
Oh,
lost taste, no loss of smell, no nothing. Like you don't even know you have it. Like what the fuck is going on?
correct.
So those
So you-
people, correct? You can't spread it.
Wow, some people should need to be in serious trouble. Oh my God, this is the show. I didn't even get to tell our fans that are watching or going to be watching. We took a little bit of a hiatus last week. This is a good way to bring me back, and like my blood is boiling right now. Continue, please.
So then another thing is that he gets an email of because supposedly a lot of evolutionary biologists and are looked at the virus and says, "Hey, listen, this is not how a normal virus jumps from an animal to human. There is a lot of steps in between for it to get to human. So it skipped a lot of steps to get to human." And he got an email, some them saying, thanking him, saying that, "Thank you for saying that," and reiterating and being adamant about saying that this came from a bat or this came from an animal.
Ooh, that's not good.
Exactly. So, like to me, like from the fact that like people are not 4,000,000 on like Hulk level upset about this situation,
I don't understand. I'm like literally losing my mind right now. Go ahead.
it irks my life because
It's crazy.
this is fucking ridiculous. We have first of all, we have this. Everybody's listening to this one guy the whole time, and he had these dumbass CDC guidelines this whole time, and then it's also he was receiving emails saying, "Hey, listen, there's treatments for this if it's caught nice and early. Hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, like these medicines work. Why, like on why are we not like screaming this from the rooftops, giving this to people? Like, it really irks me because a lot of people who like again, I want to separate some things. So a lot of people lost their lives to poor leadership, right? And I get it. In the beginning, I'm totally for people attempting to do the right thing and getting the wrong result. I'm fine with that. Like, it sucks for anybody who lost family members in the beginning of the pandemic. Anybody who was on a ventilator. If you went on a ventilator, it was like 80% chance you were dead, right? But at the time, that's the information, and they thought that that was going to save lives. And I was okay with that because they thought they were doing the right thing. But now, obviously, a month or two later, it's like, oh shit, wait a minute. Majority of people put on ventilators, they're dying. All right, we're gonna stop putting people on ventilators. So that's a kind of a microcosm of, hey, listen, we gathered new information, we got new information. Now let's implement this new information and adjust. And for whatever reason, we kept getting new information and we never adjusted from a year ago. And it irks my life because people lost jobs, people lost restaurants, kids were abused physically, mentally, wives were abused physically, mentally, husbands were abused physically or mentally, people developed anxiety, people developed depression, people fucking are in financial ruin, people lost their housing. All of this shit is one gigantic fucking thing that I've been said that was it's 10 times worse. The effects of the shutdown, and nobody's like up and on. Like, I don't understand why people are not fucking screaming from the rooftops and not upset about the information that came out today.
Wow. I'm gonna try to respond to all of this. There's so much here to try to unpack and for me to look at. Let's start with where you said at the end. So I think they just did a really, really good job and not only dividing everybody. We're like, we're so like media exposed that we must be not only having fatigue from COVID. I believe we're fatigued from the news period because we got locked up for a whole fucking year and that was the only thing we got. It was either news or sports. And that was it, because we couldn't get a good movie. TV wasn't happening. You've seen everything on fucking YouTube. And so, first of all, this is alarming on so many levels. I can't even believe people are not fucking pissed, because I would be livid if it had more of a direct effect on me. Too many people fucking died. A lot of poor people were, the victims of this. I can't believe if it was part of the master plan to keep pushing police brutality. Not that it's not happening or that it is happening, but it was like, here, that's the dog, that's the bone you guys are going to chew on while we do all this other shit, right? All these companies made billions of dollars doing this massive overhaul. I know you're a big fan of capitalism, but this country got greedy and some fat cats got filthy. I don't know if you've been seeing on the news lately, all these dudes who try to fucking plug in getting bagged for buying Lamborghinis and buying fucking this thing and buying that thing and embezzling all the fucking money they did because these guys decided to turn off the switch. Let me tell you something. People should have been alarmed the moment they said, we're going to have a 10 to 15 person meeting about Wall Street. Someone should have been like, no fucking way, that can't happen. 15 guys can't predict or manage or handle the whole entire to 330 million people. I know you talk about the masses on smaller scales and larger scales, but we're talking about all the fucking money. Now 15 guys are going to watch over all of that and say, well, you know what? We're going to crash it on purpose, call all your people, pull out the fucking bread, let it hit, and then in a week, you motherfuckers go back in, buy it all back up, and then we'll just keep rinsing and repeating. And if you've been watching the market, that's all it's been doing. It's been having new highs and fucking new lows. And obviously, even me as a young investor, I'm still fucking learning. I make mistakes. Thank God I don't lose my ass that bad. But people are losing a lot. And I've said it from the fucking beginning. Anthony Fauci, the CDC, the WHO, the Trump administration, where you motherfuckers at? Like, I can't believe, like, you and I, we're friends, so we can get to argue. We're even better than friends. We're brothers, and we get to disagree and whatever. We'll be like, yo, my bad later. But these are people that are fucking in charge, and they're fighting, right? Like, isn't it supposed to be like, hey, yo, check it out. We good. Let's just save some lives. But again, that's not what happened. And I think maybe as we talk now and this thing comes to light more, this is probably what I was really upset about, but I couldn't find the words. You know what I'm saying? About just the scandalous shit that they were fucking doing. A guy came out, I mean, on Rogan and said, no mask. Then 5 minutes later, mask. And then put the mask on your head. And then put 17 masks on and 45 masks on, right? And then you remember when they had that little stupid person with the thermometer or whatever the fuck that was on social media? That shit could have been bullshit too. Wearing all 4 masks, showing the oxygen levels or whatever the fuck they were showing. Oh, yeah, everything is great. Everything is fucking hunky-dory. Meanwhile, I go into a speakeasy, right? With 100 people, nobody's wearing masks, and I don't get sick. Bro, your boy went everywhere. I went to Oklahoma, to Texas, to fucking Nevada, to California, to up and down, to the East Coast.
And that's the problem that like you say you call it the Trump administration, and people don't want to give him credit. Trump was on the right side of this.
I was actually going to say part of what you just said. It looks like homeboy was doing all right.
He wasn't.
I am not a Trump supporter. I am not a Republican. I can give 2 fucks about the political parties, but they demonized this dude. And I'm not saying that he had other faults, like inciting a riot, like the way he handled it in the media, you know? Because another thing that I think that I have to call his attention is we have the best ventilators, and we're going to have the best ventilators, the greatest ventilators, and the ventilators we need, we're going to just get them. And the ventilators, fucking Musk is getting ventilators from fucking Hong Kong. They weren't working. So why were you guys pressing that issue so much? Like, this isn't, you know who else needs to get in trouble? The whole medical industry. Because they were like, check this out. This is going to be a really good time to make a lot of fucking money. Everybody's got COVID. Let those fuckers die in the hallway. We'll bag everybody at COVID. We'll probably get $40 million per person. And we're going to save money because we're going to tag them as COVID and we're not going to fix them. Because that's got to cost money, right? To fix a motherfucker up, to hook them up to a machine. To do all these things. Like, I don't even know what the freakonomics is going to be of the medical industry moving forward, in the sense of, like, are these, medical industries just going to go through the roof? I mean, look what happened in the stock market with Pfizer and with Moderna and Johnson & Johnson for a little bit. Like, stocks went bing, bing, bing. You don't think motherfuckers are pulling out their money? Right?
And this opened the door. I was thinking about it because it broke yesterday, like in the night. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, this might open a door for Trump to come back 2020, 2024. Because it
his camp it believes it.
Yeah, because it proved, because Fauci was fighting him on it. Fauci was saying, "Nah, I didn't come from China," because remember he was calling it the China virus. And to be honest, I was all for it because that's for where it originated from. So even if it originated in DR, guess what it would have been called? The DR virus. Or if it would have fucking anywhere in Venezuela, it would have been a Venezuelan virus. Like, it had nothing to do with Asian people or being Chinese or nothing. It was just
that's what we were saying. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's what they do. Instead of you telling me what the fuck is happening with the virus, you're worried about what the guy is using the term to describe the virus.
exactly.
Really, I'm sorry, but if he calls it one way or another way, like at that point, no one's gonna die. We literally lost a lot of we lost 1 million people, let's say, in 1 year because motherfuckers were fucking around. You know, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, that's a lot.
It's gonna be more than that because we have
everything else. The dude who killed himself because his girlfriend left. The dude who killed himself because they fucking lost a job. The girl who's gonna be fucking traumatized for the rest of her life because she got spanked too hard when she's a kid. All this, brother. I'm telling you, that's the thing. I feel like this country has like 10 more years, and then something radical is gonna happen because of what they just did. And it makes me question everything that they're doing. Even what was it, 2 weeks ago? We talked about the aliens fucking landing. How do we know that's not shenanigans to keep motherfuckers subdued? That's what they want us to be, subdued. Fuck it. Listen, it was even the thing about, like smoking trees and drinking and all that stuff. It was crazy. They were cool with that. Marijuana sales through the fucking roof in California. Booze sales, they were like, fucking keep these motherfuckers drunk, high. They're gonna buy here more PlayStations. Fucking sell PlayStations everywhere, and then make sure we sell all of them out, and then sell them again, and just keep on and keep. Bro, you can't tell me one person who was on unemployment who probably received like almost $20,000, right, in straight cash, homie. How much of that money they have left?
Exactly.
Zero.
And then,
Right?
like, I was telling, it's crazy because I was like, yo, in a sense, people were like, kind of making me seem like I was crazy. I'm like, yo, bro, we have a smartphone. I have a smartphone, and then I have a brain, and then you can go and look at all the data because it's there. And then they had so many videos that were being shadow banned on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube where doctors saying, yo,
Shadow banned.
exactly, we got hit with a strike.
I couldn't even fucking show my homegirl because I was nervous. Shout out to Dr. Sheila Young because she was shook too. Shut down shit. Oh, it didn't come from the CDC. Boom, you're fucking bro.
Exactly.
I think we're getting confused because now we got to pick fucking different terms, okay? Because everybody likes to seem like once they control you, that's called socialism or communism, right? They want to neutralize you and control you. Nah, this is some other shit, bro. This has nothing to do with this. This is just massive manipulation, corruption, craziness, bro. Like America basically changed the rules of the game.
The fact that today Joe Biden hasn't put out an executive order lifting all mask mandates and all COVID protocols is fucking beyond me. And it just shows how bad this administration is. And that's why I didn't vote for him. And it just shows. It just shows. She just came out today and said, yo, no more federal mask mandates.
I just want to know, so crazy again. This thing we could literally talk for an hour, bro. Think about how many fucking companies, oh my god, have made millions. Sanitizer, fucking mask.
All the big companies. That's the problem. All the small companies.
They're cool.
Cool.
We're talking about the massive corporations. I told you, bro.
No, what I'm saying is the small companies that went bankrupt.
No, for sure, bro. There's restaurants that are never gonna come back to San Diego. Fucking 200 plus that sit there gone. They're fucked. I'm talking about the whole new enterprise because trust me, fucking Johnson & Johnson. I'm sure they got on the making masks, thing. Like a lot of big. This is crazy, bro. Like I'm literally losing my mind as I'm trying to talk about this because this shit affected, like. We were almost not going to come back from this. Everything.
Now, look, this is the other part of it, the financial part of it, where we're having the incentive now, which I think is fucking crazy to me. And I brought up since fucking.
They made a virus so they could get us hooked on some shit.
Peep this, though. Peep this now that's going on. That it irks my life because I saw this coming down the pipeline. They're giving signing bonuses to people to go get a job at McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, fast food, 7-Eleven, Wawa. They're giving signing bonus to people so they could go and get a job so they can compete with unemployment. Because there's a mass need for jobs right now. But people don't want to go back to work because the government is giving them money. Now, people don't understand this. If the government continues to give money, that causes massive inflation. And when massive inflation happens, it causes goods and services to go up because you have to pay. So now, let's say I'm a small business owner. I own a 7-Eleven, for instance. I have 2 people on staff, and I normally need 8. My minimum wage is $7, whatever, or $8. Now you're gonna force me to go and pay these guys $15 each, right? Now I have to upcharge on the goods in my store to offset the price that I'm going to pay my employees. People don't see that. They don't know basic economics.
I get that, but that's just such a slippery slope to kind of stand on because, in my opinion, right? Like, first of all, regionally things are different, right?
But
So
but it doesn't matter because it's
yeah, but if you're working, let's say you're the employee
Mhm.
and you're working at 7-Eleven and you live in California, right? Let's just use that for example. We'll jump around a couple of different places, and you're in California, right? If you don't make more than $2,000 a month, you can't live. Right, but maybe in Alabama where it's fucking, fucking $1,000 for a 2-bed, $7-8 makes more sense an hour. I think that it's tough in the major cities to try to not reach up to a certain point.
But
And I think it's Schiff, who I think I had mentioned to you a bunch of times about how he views minimum wage.
Mhm.
But I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. I gotta backtrack all this shit because, in my opinion, if this is what happened, then all of this shit is fixed, right? Because you could argue that the Democrats' agenda, right, was to get everybody on unemployment so that we raise everything, so that we crush certain sections, and then okay, so we got a surplus of money because we got rid of those fuckers, right? And they all had to pay insurance policies and all this stuff, and then now we're gonna force these other people to raise. Like, there's just so many things going on here. Because that was part of the agenda to begin with. They wanted to raise the minimum wage. Right? So it just seems like nothing is being done in a good way. Everything has like an agenda or something up their sleeve. And I get it. And listen, I think that it is time for people to get a fair wage. The problem is like what you said, once the goods go up, milk is $5, eggs is $5, right?
But now milk and cheese and all that shit is gonna be $9.
Yeah, but that to me, I've heard that argument and I've been on that side of the argument as well. But that takes time. It's
Not the way they're doing it. Remember, if the minimum wage now is $8, you're trying to double it within a year.
I get that, but first of all, that's ridiculous. They should do what Cali did, and Cali did it smart. Just raise it $1 every year until it gets to 15. If it's 8, it'll take what, 8 years, 9 years. So that's a slow, movement. So that way you don't feel it, or the companies don't feel it. If you go from 18 to 15 overnight, that's brutal.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they're trying to pass.
I get that.
So now you're gonna crush all these small companies. Now my thing is like, all right, people don't you don't go into a job thinking to stay there forever. The average person normally has like 9 jobs, 10 jobs by the time they turn 30. Anyway, so like you're using a job to get to the next stepping stone. Now, the problem is you're gonna force a kid, right? Let's say an 18-year-old kid who should be getting $8 an hour because they have no work experience, or 16-year-old who has no work experience and has nothing to offer. You're gonna go and pay them that's $15 an hour off of rip, and they're producing $5 worth of value.
I get that, and again, it's a Peter Schiff. I hope I'm saying his name right.
Yeah, Peter Schiff.
I've heard that argument before, but I just think it's different when when it costs $4,000, let's say, and this is a terrible argument to combat the 16-year-old, but let's say the 16-year-old moved out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It costs $4,000 to have a 4-bedroom apartment.
So you know what you gotta do? You have to get a room.
I know. I'm talking about $1,000 at a room. Just
okay.
To live in, let's say, San Francisco or Los Angeles, where, like, that's a lot of money.
Okay.
You know, like I'm in some of these other. Listen, when you could buy a house in Texas for $250,000, then fuck yeah, that makes sense, right? But I mean,
but I'm saying you could then be
how much is the unemployment in New York City? I mean, the minimum wage in New York City. Do you know?
no, I think it's like $9, $10, something like that.
I don't think. But listen to this, right? It's $9, right? So I'm a 6-year-old kid. It's $9 an hour. I'm entry level. A pack of cigarettes is $18. How the fuck am I supposed to do that? That already the inflation doesn't really count.
But now,
Because-
but okay, but look,
Ooh.
but again, that is not a necessity.
Okay, but even when I went to New York, even goods are expensive.
But what I'm saying is like you could go, like there's some shit that you don't have to spend money on. You don't have to get Netflix. You don't.
This is not enough anymore, bro.
But it is if you're trying to get to like what is your if you to get money? There's ways to get money.
I get that, but you know, you listen. Think about the math. If you put 40 hours at $8 an hour, right?
It's like $500, $600.
Okay, I get that. But how much did the company make while I was there for the week?
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. But if you are producing, if you're
But you're talking about something that's not real, Jay.
that's not true.
They don't do that. They don't do, bro. I've worked 90 jobs. H. Everywhere I go, I could kill. They never raise. There's never a raise.
Now I get that. If you go overboard, then they don't. But what I'm saying is that what I'm saying if your value, if you have again like a 16-year-old kid going to get a job, has zero work experience and brings nothing to the table.
But you could make a different argument because what if he's a skateboarder and he knows everything about fucking skateboards and now he works at a skateboard shop?
So-
That's actually value.
So now guess what, right? So
Skateboard shop is a small mom and pop thing.
okay, so peep this. This is how you do the metrics. If you have an average sales, let's say Johnny walks into the store, says, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Johnny. I know everything about this deck. I know everything about wheels. I know everything about trucks, all this shit. I know everything about vans, everything, right? All right, cool. We're gonna start you off $8 an hour. Our weekly sales, on average, have been $3,000. Since Johnny been working here, they have doubled.
Right.
So now what you do is, all right, hey, listen, Mr. Dustin, how you doing? I see the sales have doubled. Can we talk about a renegotiation so I can get paid more money? Now, if you can do that, the thing is that people aren't taught these things.
I get
Right?
that. And
So
I have-
now
it's not easy though. But
it
keep
is
going.
though because you have to just do it. but-
I've done it and they still dead you.
Okay, so, but what I'm saying is you can take your talent somewhere else.
I get that, but it's still the same shit. It's still the same shit, Jay. I've worked at multiple jobs and I went above and beyond. And like they're geeked when they give you a 50-cent raise. Now you don't even get raises in California anymore because they had all that shit set up to get to 15. So because you were going to get an automatic raise every year, they didn't even have to look at it. Like I used to work back in the day, bro, when I used to be a youngster, they used to have like 3-month evaluations. And after your 3-month evaluation, they would bump you up in pay. They don't even do that anymore.
Mm-mm.
And that's what I'm saying. I think, listen, what you are saying makes sense. Can it work? Yes. But I also believe that it's a noble concept that's not being utilized. I've had 40 jobs in my lifetime, and now one person came up to me and said, "Hey, yo, your crushing is so dope, we're going to give you 1% of sales." Now, that's a different argument, right? So when I used to work at Rockefeller Center, right, I'd get 1% of sales plus $15 an hour plus tips, right? Now, take away the other two. Forget about minimum wage, but why you not giving, you don't want to pay minimum wage? Fine. Give the person 1% of sales. If they go up, then you go up more too. I feel like that's only fair. If the guy is at 500 and you had to break a certain amount to get, that thing, right? I've seen some places that have implemented, I've only seen in the restaurant industry that give the people a portion of the sales. Bro, they're the happiest employees. They go above and beyond and they never let nobody shit on them. But when you're going to say like, hey, we should have an opportunity here to make $8 an hour and then we'll keep reassessing, that's fair. That's how it kind of is. But it hasn't been like that. Like you got CEO corner office guys making so much money and they keep getting raises, right? And then they start corporations and they pay themselves out of the corporation. Bro, as an employee, I've been fucked. I got fucked by the IRS. I get fucked by ownership. They're making thousands off my back. I'm making hundreds.
But that's the thing of being an owner.
And I get all of that, but I don't think that it's not to play the opposite of what you're saying. It's not fair if you're not doing those evaluations, which they haven't done in a long time, bro.
So what I'm saying, but you can then, right? You can go bust your ass.
Yeah, I've done it though.
But what I'm
done
saying
it.
is you
I've got
can.
nothing out of it.
But
I've
what
got
I'm
nothing-
but what I'm saying is you can bust your ass. You save your bread,
Yeah.
and then you can go do your own thing.
I get that. I understand that too. But then the thing is that that's another thing that I thought COVID was gonna be interesting, but everybody's so fucking pussy, and they're not doing shit, right? I thought that we were gonna come out of this not only one, be closer to each other as human beings, which we didn't fucking do that one, and
Mhm.
two, I thought there was gonna be more of an entrepreneurial sense, right?
Well, yeah, a lot of people have done it, but they've went in a different direction. A lot of people haven't. They've went more on online. They went more to affiliate marketing and things along those lines.
All that shit, I dig it and I support it 100%. But I'm just saying that number is not larger. You get what I'm saying? Like it's crazy that all these people just were waiting around to get their jobs back. No one got creative. No one thought outside the box. Like, you know how when you talk to people, you've talked to them, I've talked to them, I've been one of those guys, and you have been one of those guys, right? We're like, yo, son, if I ever had the time, I would blah, 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 blah. And they had the time. Jack shit. Nobody did anything.
But then but I'm saying those are the same people who are going to go complain that they should get more money from the job.
I get it. I get that.
So
I understand it. But the thing is, the argument is difficult in different cities. I think in a smaller city, like you can't count New York and you can't count California. You got to look at fucking Nebraska. And if you make $8 in Nebraska and your fucking rent is like $500, I think you're okay.
But a lot of places, most places normally have something similar. Because like I've worked in New York almost my whole life. I've never had a job less than $18 an hour ever.
Again, and see, look, you're that's your standard, right? That's how expensive New York City is in the mind of the way the numbers are at.
But what I'm saying is that majority of jobs normally pay people in their locations of areas a decent amount anyway.
I get that, but also too, remember, I feel like look at what my brother just fucking around and checking people in. That's $100,000 a year job. That shouldn't be $100,000 a year job. Over here, that job is only like $45,000. But remember, the cost of living is expensive there, and if you hit it good in a good job in New York City, you get health benefits. You get,
But that's adjusted for, is what I'm saying.
I get that, but I still think you get paid more in New York City, and you don't get paid more in other places. And New York,
but I'm saying because the other places adjust to the living standard is what I'm saying.
That's why I think the argument is difficult to have.
That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't be.
You don't really need $15 an hour.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't force people to pay their employees a certain amount of money.
There should be a minimum, at least a minimum. Do the cost, do the thing. You can't be paying motherfuckers. Imagine there was no minimum wage, like Peter said. You can pay motherfuckers $1.
And then you go to somebody else. Hey, listen, Mr. Peter's paying me $1.
Same thing.
I'll pay you for two. I'll pay you $2.
I get that, but and now he takes it to and he leverages. Eventually, he's going to get to a place where it's 18 and 19 and 20.
That's
so
fine.
Really, I get it, but it doesn't matter. So it's just set a standard that way they can't pay that low.
Because you force people to think, one, and two, negotiate. These are skills that you need in the workplace.
First of all, I agree with you, right? But school doesn't agree with you because none of these
schools are idiots.
I get that. I'm just saying, like, so in the United States, like overall consciousness, they don't give a flying fuck if you can manage money.
Of course not. They don't teach you how to manage money in the public school system. They teach you how to be workers.
And in the Catholic school system, they fucking do the same thing. Or private school system, they teach you to get jobs.
Yep.
There's no like, hey, go do this and go kill it, right? It's like you're like shunned if you think different and you want to try to do something. Oh, I'm going to build this or I'm going to build that. They look at you like you're crazy.
All right, now speaking about being shunned, you got Kwame Brown out in these streets, thinking he's Funkmaster Flex, going in.
Fools, these straight punkin' fools. Yeah. Let me get your opinion on Kwame first. I know you're introing it, but this is your space.
My thing is, it's like when you talk about players in the NFL, or you talk about players in the MLB, or if you talk about players even in the NBA. Like when we talk about LeBron and MJ, we can all universally agree both these players are great basketball players, right? Now, when we go into like, all right, now we got to decide and split hairs and say who's better than who, we got to go, and nitpick in each player's game. Because you're comparing two people who are on the same level of greatness at the top of their respective sport. Kwame Brown in the NBA against other contemporaries of his skill set in the NBA was a bum. Now, we can all also agree any person who makes it to the NBA, who makes it to the NFL, who makes it to the MLB, NHL, WNBA, tennis, wherever you want a professional sports team, if you make it to anything a professional setting and you get paid to do this for a living, you are better than 99% of people in that respective sport. I think we could agree to that, right?
100%. That was gonna be one of my things. He wouldn't be even in the building.
He wouldn't have even exactly if he wasn't skillful. But when you get to the NBA, now there's levels to this shit in the NBA. That's why you got superstars, you got stars, you got good players, you got role players, and you got the scrubs. And then that's how it's a tier list of it when it's splitting hairs. And in the NBA, he was never a top 20 player ever. He was never a top 100 player ever. When he was in maybe even he wasn't even a top 200 player while he was in the NBA. Now, people like I hate this narrative, right? That just because you make it out of where you grew up from, that you're you can't be criticized anymore. In the sense of, I went and I made $100 million, right? Let's say whatever. So we made $100 million podcasting, right? And somebody would say, hey, we made an error, whatever the case may be, on a certain topic, or we misspoke, or whatever the case may be. And I say, you can't talk to me like that. You can't criticize me because I made it out of my life, out of the hardship of my life. Those two things are mutually exclusive. I commend Kwame Brown for being the first pick in the NBA draft. Not a lot of people could say they were the first pick in the NBA draft. Not a lot of people could say they were drafted out of high school. You made $60-70 million. Bro, I hope you make $1 billion. Fantastic. Great for you. Great for your family. But now we're talking about NBA basketball. They're two different things. You were a scrub. Two other NBA basketball players. Compared to Chris Bosh, Lamar Odom, Andrew Bynum, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. The list could go on and on and on and on and on. You weren't a top tier player. And he got his feelings hurt. Now, if anybody went at him about his personal life, then I give him, I'm not upset with him responding to that person or to those individuals talking about his personal life. I think that's off the table when it comes to any professional athlete. Whatever professional athletes do in their personal time and from beyond the media, they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. But when people are critiquing your game and you get upset that your contemporaries on all the smoke, like Steven Jackson's a champion. Matt Barnes is a champion. They were good players. They weren't fantastic, great, but they were good players. Gilbert Arenas changed the point guard position to making it a two-way playmaking position. Those guys were better than you in the NBA. So if your contemporaries are talking about you saying you were not that good, it's because you were not that good. So him being upset and then bringing all personal shit to all these people, I think it was a little classless to me. And people with this narrative of like, oh, we tearing down the black man and we tearing down somebody who makes it out of the hood. Like, no, that has nothing to do with it. It's two different conversations. But that's just me. What about you?
Oof, wow. I was listening wholeheartedly. There's a lot again with this whole topic, and I wanted to bring it up because I know that you are dialed when it comes into the NBA. But there's a lot of stuff to look at here. First, let's start at the beginning. My biggest concern is in Europe, right? When you talk about international football, their product is by far the best product on the map. In my opinion, it's better than the NFL because it's global, right?
Okay.
That means larger. Okay, it's close, right? Because the NFL is the king, but you know when you look at the Spanish league or the
Soccer's the fucking Genghis Khan. Like,
all of it. Okay, I think a large portion into that is, and shout out to Mikkel for enlightening me on this topic, but we need to start looking at starting academies. Okay, and in this academy, if you're a beast at 16, guess what? You don't go to regular school anymore, buddy. You're gonna come over here. We're gonna work out a school that's gonna be dedicated to teaching you shit, but also to teach you shit on your sport. So if you're the best baseball player in high school, we could go recruit you. And each team and organization have their own academies. So the Yankees, they go get this kid. They say, okay, now you're going to learn with us. We got a school. Everything you learn about is velocity, trajectory, math, sinking, strategy, all this stuff. That way we can start training players from 16 to 18 hard body. No reason to go to college. Zero. There is no reason to go to college. I don't know why we're doing this. This is, again, another money grab for another layer of jerseys to be sold. And that's where I think that they're getting exploited, okay? Because I do think that we are exploiting black kids in that regard. In the regard of we are basically making them dance for us, paying them nothing, and then when they make it, ridiculing them because of the shit that they didn't acquire wherever the fuck they were at. And I think it happens a lot in basketball. I talked to you about this, and we've talked about this. If you're good, you should go play. And there's got to be a system in place. Even the baseball's got to look at this. If you're hitting below 250, my man, over the last 6 months, check it out. You're going down, and I'm bringing this young kid up. And if you get back to above 250, and then we'll switch back, and we'll go player by player on this whole thing across the board. We need to start soaking more into the athletics, into this country, in my opinion. Yeah, okay, we do spend a lot of money. We need to spend more money. We need to spend more money because that's a huge thing that we produce. America doesn't produce a lot, but when it comes to athletes, we produce a ton. You should be teaching these guys. We were just talking about it. You don't learn jack shit in high school. Well, these kids don't learn jack shit about anything either. They don't learn about how to handle their body, what they should be doing, right training methods. Hey, here's a stipend for your mom. Not welfare. Here's a stipend for your mom. She can buy groceries for the whole week because you're competing, right? You're not the best of the best or whatever. I think that this would be a very interesting argument and subject to try to debate and to actually see if it was practical, using some of these social programs differently, right? Helping the kid out. That way the kid has already got money. He doesn't have to go to college and some guy shows up with money to him and the kid's been starving since he was 10. So now he's like, fuck it. Yeah, buy me the Ferrari, hook my mom's pad up, bomb, and then they take away the Heisman Trophy when he gets up there. Because guys like Reggie Bush and OJ Mayo are not talked about, right? And Reggie Bush probably could have been a fucking filthy animal out the gate. We still see guys that I think are professional ready, even though that's a lot, right? To be professionally ready, that's a lot. But they're still professionally ready, and they go, okay, to your argument, right? The NBA has the 1 year rule. Are those players any better? Some of them are good and some of them are bad. That's just it. You know, you can take a kid like Steph. You can take a kid from Davidson. No one even knows where the fuck the university is, barely what city that's from, and one of the greatest players of all time.
Now, what are your thoughts on Kwame going out of pocket?
Now, watch. We're going to get there because I think that that's a large thing because it made me rethink a lot of stuff. It made me look at the way Joe Rogan does his commentary. Joe Rogan, I think, is amazing because he does this. When guys come on his show and let's say they're bashing, someone lost. Let's say Conor had a fight and Conor lost. And they say, yo, Conor sucked. Joe will never say, I agree. Joe will always be like, you know what happened? He had his hands up too much. He wasn't doing this and this. The teammates, I'm sure they didn't work with him. I never heard anybody apologize more for Ronda Rousey when she lost than Joe Rogan. Because he was able to explain like, yo, she lost because she wasn't ready because she didn't train. She knew this girl had floor skills or hand skills and she didn't get ready. And so that's what I think when I look at Kwame Brown's point of view. He has a point of view. Like, Stephen A., you're a bum. You want to talk about bums? Talk about the bums that didn't make it. Skip Bayless, you're a bum. The other guy that he's with, he's a champion. Then I'll listen to him. I think that the news reporters are getting a little way out of their lane, especially when they can slap shit on without even fact checking. Meanwhile, guys like us, we're not there yet, but a guy like Joe Rogan says something wrong and he has to apologize, right? And so I think that Kwame, was it excessive? Yeah, but was he saying shit that I've been feeling the whole time? I was talking to some of my friends and I was like, bro, I've been banging on my chest about this the whole time. Okay, was it over the top that he was taking shots? Yes, but it was funny and it was comical and he did it in a different way, which was in the fucking, first thing of his truck, and he's got a country twang, which makes that shit comedy. Now here I am, because I was watching it. I'm endorsing Charlemagne, and obviously there's more to the situation there. Right? I'm not saying that he uncovered it or he exposed it, but back to what I was saying. I think that the sports writers really do a shitty job at tearing these kids down, because we're not talking about what they're really doing off the field. I mean, on the field. There's a lot of other shit that they bring into the narrative. ESPN has a story about every other fucking thing about sports. That's why I stopped watching ESPN. I want to see just shots of replay. Now, again, I kind of feel him, so I don't know. I think his shit is comedy. I like, a lot of the things that he had to say. I think that they were honest. Now, whether he's taking shots at, reporters for dragging his name in there wrong, yeah, I feel bad. Do I also feel? Do I think that he might have not did it the best way? Yeah, I also feel bad at the fact that he had to go fucking play with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was fucking punching players at the peak of his career. Here comes this kid out of high school, which he had a fair argument, right? Kid out of high school trying to fucking gel. They should have just traded him immediately if that's what the case was. And I think for what he was saying, they wanted Elton Brand or somebody of that caliber. Now, an argument that I think he has sound too. He said, I think when he was in Charlotte or whatever, he was almost a double-double guy, which was 10 points and 9 or 8 rebounds.
It's 10
right?
and 10.
Right, I got you, I know. So he says that the Tyson Chandler, for being officially a double-double guy and nothing higher than 10 and 10, he got $50,000, a $50 million contract. So like some of the stuff that was happening was making a lot of sense, at least from his side. Now, I think we've posted this before. We've talked about it before. There's always 3 sides to things. The truth, their side, and your side. So, I don't know. From me looking at it, I think he's funny. I think
again, him talking about anything that's on the court or basketball related, I'm with it. If you like, even when Shaq said, "Yo, how Rudy Gobert getting the max, and he's only averaging 10 points and like 12 rebounds? Like, why? How do you get max contracts getting $180 million, averaging 10 points, 12 rebounds? Like, I'm about that. Like, hey, listen, you're not dominating at your position. You shouldn't be getting paid max money if you're not dominating at your position. Now, if you're talking about somebody fucking your wife, your kids, worry about your own personal life, like, again, nobody was talking about your personal life. And if they were talking about your personal life, I think you have no problem with going at those people at their rack. And he has a right to defend himself. Don't get me wrong. He has a right to defend himself. But you can't get upset when you didn't dominate your position. Like, you were a bum. And it's sorry to go like that. There's a lot of people who've come into the NBA after you and before you that came into the NBA and they turned out to be bums. And it just happens. It happens in the NFL. We talk about it all the time. So you say Sam Darnold, poopy. Why? Because he's not as good as Tom Brady. He's not good as Aaron Rodgers. He's not as good as Russell Wilson. He's not even good as Ryan Tannehill up to this point. But when we getting to this big elite level, there's some people who are going to just criticize your game. Now, the media's job is to literally promote the league. Now, I get sometimes like you got to I say like using people's names and making a funny thing it could be a little bit overboard if you say, hey, listen, don't play with my last name or don't play with my first name. You could get to that point, which Chris Bosh did when Skip Bayless was calling him Bosh Spice. And Chris Bosh came on and said, listen, this is my family name. I don't like that you did that. And what did Skip Bayless do? Never said it again. He apologized to him and never said it again. But if somebody's calling you a scrub, and compared to other players, you're a scrub, my man. We call people scrubs all the time in the NFL. Now, do we know that they're talented enough to get to that elite level? Yes, because they made it.
So then, if that's the case, then we can't call them scrub.
You can, but because we're
That league, I get that. I think
that's what we're doing.
I know, but to keep the stuff like off the field stuff and more about what we're saying about the game, I get that. Like sports talk is just like political talk. These fuckers just be talking shit, and that's how they run the airwaves.
Mhm.
I just think that it could be tough when you're looking at it from a young person's perspective. When you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, even 23, like look at what happened to Sam Darnold. They might have ruined that kid's mental career, right? So I think even if you are taking a shot at their game, I don't know, and it's going to be hard because I don't know how to fix it. I've seen some people do it, like Max Kellerman, I think, does an amazing job at lifting up people when he's critiquing them, at the same time not totally killing them. But Stephen A's got to be yelling like every 5 seconds. Skip Bayless has got to be going to ham all this time. I get it. Yes, we are. We think. I just think that maybe we should be looking at it again. Like I'm a thoughtful person.
I think we're just getting too soft. You fucking suck in the NBA, and that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because if I went to the NBA and I was playing like shit, I suck in the NBA. That's all. That's what it comes down to.
I know, but I feel like I get you. I know listen, we come from a different fucking pedigree and all this other stuff. I just think that it could have been hard for him to be 18 years old, get all that limelight, not live up to the expectations of being the overall, pick. I mean, he had discussed that he really didn't get like that much physical training in the sense of teaching him how to, exercise and work out and play better and be more effective. And when he moved around, he's seen that happen and it became a little bit better. I just think this is my argument, and we'll try to see if we can get out of here on this. My argument is that we throw around, not so much with the Kwame Brown stuff, but even regular fans are too quick to call people bums when it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do.
But remember, like without the fans, you don't get paid millions of dollars, and nobody's watching. Like, but that's why WNBA is struggling, because it's not a good quality product to watch. Now, if we can't critique your game compared to your contemporaries, then it's useless to talk about your sport. It's useless to go watch your sport. It's useless to critique your game, critique any sports. Just talk about it, period. Because that's what we're doing.
I know. I like I said, I think it's a tough situation to kind of try to encapsulate it for me. I think what Kwame Brown's doing is hilarious. I love.
I think he is funny, some funny shit. He said some funny shit. But like it's happened like 2 months ago with the whole Westbrook shit. When Stephen A said, "Listen, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, great talent, triple double king, fantastic." But we already seen this. We already seen triple doubles. But we already seen you go on the first round. We see you go on the first run again. We see you go on the first run again. We see you go on the first run again. So all these triple doubles are great stat wise.
And I know where you're going with this,
but you're not. It's not equating to wins and critiquing
wins. You're talking about postseason wins. Postseason. I feel like we're just
that's
the media did to us. We can't even watch the game normal anymore because
you never did.
I kind of did when I first watched it. I was so excited about all the teams. I never really gave a fuck who won or lost.
All the teams I rooted for, they were champions and won, won at a high clip.
Other 31 teams times 4 or 5 different fucking leagues. Like Tom Brady, motherfuckers must be angry. And I know the answer: go beat them. But there's just certain things, certain times that I think it's gonna be hard. I don't think Russ is gonna get one. Where's he supposed to go?
But that's a result of his own game. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
He's a filthy animal. When you talk about scrubs, that's like the total opposite of that.
But what I'm saying is he's not a scrub, but he's a bad decision maker. That's a part of his game. So getting 20 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists, and you don't win any at the championship or don't win your rounds in the postseason is fucking useless. Shooting 32% from the 3-point line is useless. Shooting 65% from the free throw line is useless.
Basically, on this argument, there's only 3 great players in the league. LeBron, Steph.
That's why it's tiers. You have superstars, you have stars, you have good players, you have role players, and then you have scrubs.
So, but Russ
is a good player.
You don't think he's a star?
No.
Wow.
He's just a lot of antics, a lot of high stats, but if he's not resulting to winning.
But it is winning. We're just speaking specifically about championship wins.
Again, That's
record.
why we're splitting greatness.
That's the thing.
You have to split it. You have to create tiers. That's it. What makes the NBA thrive. That's what makes the NFL thrive. If we don't break down these players and rank them in categories, what the fuck are we watching sports or even talking about them for?
So we're not watching it to watch it because it's entertaining.
No, but I'm saying you're gonna watch. All right, cool. Russ, what he's doing is fantastic. Now I want to see Russ do that and win a championship. Imagine Russ winning championships while doing that. Now that inspires a whole other generation to go get guards to get double rebounds and assists and score the basketball. But when you go and say, "Hey, listen, look, watch Russell Westbrook in the last 4 minutes of basketball games. He unravels. He can't make clutch shots. He can't make free throws. All key components to winning a game, to winning it all, to getting to even getting there. Like even LeBron James, cool. LeBron James does everything, but LeBron James loses more than he wins when he gets to the big stage. So him doing everything doesn't benefit his career and his team because they lose more than they win. But that's what I'm saying. You split greatness. You're splitting good players and great players. Kobe 5-2 in the finals. Tim Duncan 5-1 in the finals. Jordan 6-0 in the finals. Jerry West 1-11.
We probably would have said that. I know that was crazy. I didn't know how much he
That's
lost.
what I'm saying. Like, okay, you're a great player, but there's levels to this shit. That's why Deion Sanders is tight that everybody's getting into the fucking Hall of Fame because it's not the Hall of Fame anymore. It's the Hall of Good. So that's what I'm saying. That you have to break it down, and you should be allowed to, as anybody who's critiquing sports, to break it up into subcategories. Because then what are we talking about? There's no reason to be, all right, all these guys are great because they made it. All right, that's it. We'll just watch, and then we don't talk about nothing else. Then we won't talk about how Dame goes for 55 against the Nuggets. We don't talk about Jokic getting triple doubles, 25, 15, and 12. Like we don't.
So look, Joe. I mean, not Joe, because I feel like they could win, but Dame ain't gonna ever win, and I consider him a superstar.
And because he's a star. He's not a superstar because he can't get to he can't win the big game at the big time. He went to the Western Conference Finals one time and they got slapped and swept. So
there's only 3 superstars.
There's 4. You have LeBron, KD, Steph, and Harden.
Okay, that's crazy. How many players are in the NBA?
You have 450.
That's terrible.
And then you have a lot of then you have stars. You have Jason Tatum.
That argument, right, is either you're good or you suck, right? Because you got the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all scrubs based on that argument.
But that's why there's levels to it. So you have Steph getting double teamed. You have KD getting double teamed. You have Harden getting double teamed. That's what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? So there's levels to this shit.
I get it, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's, specifically speaking to the NBA, I feel like there's just elite and then everybody else.
Yeah, even in the NFL's like that too.
And then there's a little wiggle room for, because I don't think, to be honest with you, and shoot, what is this guy's name? I know you know. What's Michael Jordan's trainer? His name?
Tim Grover.
Tim Grover. He said it, bro. And I think that's the thing. Like, to be an animal is not just an animal. It's the practice and everything else that goes into it.
Got cleaners. I forgot how he calls them.
I think the bums, they got skills.
Of course.
No, I'm not saying like they're not talented. I'm saying more so that they're not putting in the extra work to get it done. Because you got to be a killer. And that's why I think a lot of people like Kobe Bryant. Well, that was good. We're gonna switch lanes in here because we went pretty ham in there. I think that was juicy for a guy who's been off for almost 2 weeks. I like what I'm hearing. There's a lot of stuff going on that's crazy. To cap it all out, like I said, homeboy is hilarious. Did I think he went extra? Sure. But I think that we need to maybe look at this lens a little bit differently. I know you disagree, but we're going to move into our news or no news segment and see what's going on in the current events field. Let me double check here, make sure what I got here, and I'll go in and get you right set up. I don't even know what was the first one. I can't believe I closed it. All right, give me 1 second here while I pull this up. All right, so news or no news, this is we had a week break, but I still wanted to bring this back. News or no news that Amazon buys MGM Studios?
I found a little odd just because they already have their own, Prime Studios. But I guess he's just on some I'm taking over the world type shit.
But news or no news?
I say news just because at least now the Amazon videos they give creative control. They let directors and any of the creators have their say. So now you're gonna have the umbrella. Let's say maybe if movies that could have been better maybe get remade, or movies that are good get remade. Who knows?
Yeah, that's pretty much I think what they bought it for. Not only that they gave creative freedom to the people that they let do what they do, but they also now got a brand new library they can go do. I mean, they just pretty much, you know what this means? Amazon owns James Bond. That's what that means. No, because that's under their umbrella. So now,
Yeah.
they're gonna be caking it. Hopefully now when the movie theaters come back, we didn't even get a chance to.
It could be a series.
They're gonna be able to do a lot more with that. Okay, obviously this is weird too because I put this back a little bit, and it circles back to what we were saying. News or no news? Airbnb CEO says the travel of business will never go back to the way it used to be.
News in a sense of like he's going off. I don't think he's reacted to the news that we got today.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. This was a week ago, so I think that's probably gonna be Fugazi now.
Yeah, because like I was talking to my girl and I was like, "Hey, listen, work might go back to normal. Like, hopefully, if smart people are smart, shit goes back to normal, in a sense. Because people are not gonna fall for the nonsense no more. So I say it's just news in the sense of like, I think it's gonna be fine. I think people are still gonna travel. I know they have a lot of bad like press in the sense of like Airbnb has like 2 or 3 fees on their site that makes it like charge like $400 extra for the stay. So I don't know. Like I think in the sense of it might change the way that people travel using Airbnb.
That could be that. Actually, that's actually a fair statement. I actually think a lot of this stuff is going to change now because they were considered unicorns. And so now I think Airbnb is going to be different. But again, we just got some news today. I also think that Uber and Lyft is going to be different, right? Because now there's no ride sharing, but now is that going to be changed? Like how is the travel industry going to be after this? I definitely think it was a bit of form of trying to see how much you'd be willing to give up because there's already stupidities, in my opinion, at the airport to begin with. Why do I need to take off my shoes, bro? Like you got this big ass circle thing that I spin in that can understand that there's heat coming from it. You can't tell there's heat coming from the shoes, man. Right? Like I just think that they've just wanted to make flying more difficult, and this ends up helping them out. But we'll see now. I got to do a lot more research for next week's show. Next week's show is going to be fucking kicking like goddamn Van Damme because this news is just unbelievable. This really changes everything. All right, it's staying in the same thing that we were talking about. Do you think that athletes should have the ability not to do news pressers? Should they be forced to go?
Yes, it's a part of the game. It sells the game. So there's news that in the sense of the athletes not wanting to do them. Now I get that. I think what the athletes should do is if any of the media says, "Hey, I heard that your brother X, Y, and Z," I think maybe the PR reps of the teams should come out before and say, hey, "Listen, if it's not basketball related questions of tonight's game, players will not be answering questions anymore." Like that are non-related. And if you can't abide by these rules, you will not be allowed in the meeting room. We could make it like that.
I know, but I don't think that's gonna happen because they love all that bullshit. But yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think that they should. It's part of the game. You should definitely do it. All right, so this one is a little shady. Kevin Spacey's back at work after all of the, assault allegations, and it's comedy because he's gonna be playing a detective looking into someone who's investigating pedophilia. Do you think that that's news or no news?
I think it's due just in a sense of his team did that on purpose. Again, it's allegations. Like unless you have hard evidence, you gotta like you can't stop people from working. Like no more of this he said she said shit or he said shit. Like if there's accounts, if you have multiple accounts, then all right, he shouldn't be working. But if you can't produce some information, like you got to stop with all this allegation shit.
Okay. News or no news? The Jake Paul brother fighting thing is getting annoying now.
No news. I know I'm not gonna watch, so I don't really care about it. What about you?
Okay. I mean, I'm interested to see because I think if I mean, there's no way he knocks out Floyd, but if he even knocks out Floyd, I think that it was definitely he took a take for the to set up the rematch. So I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. I mean, I'm not gonna pay. I don't pay for fights. That's just not. I think it's too expensive. I think that the UFC's worth it.
Yep.
But I've never paid for that either. So I just wait for everything on YouTube. So you know that's how that whole situation goes out. All right. Hold on here. Where the heck am I at? Got so funny what Trumpy's doing in the streets. Okay. So last weekend, 10 Billboard awards. What do you think? Is it no news?
News. He's just a dope ass artist. You know, he deserves it. Most of his shit he puts out is fire, and you know, kudos to him.
Yeah, I like The Weeknd. I really dig the album. I think that he's a little different. Not so crazy about the plastic surgery look that he pretended to have, but he seems like a very interesting creator. He's from Canada, right?
Yep.
We get a lot of musicians from Canada. Shout out to Canada.
Yeah. True.
You know, they get all these dudes out
It's like
there.
getting all these actors from Australia.
What is going on? I said no work, and then they said that with all right. So news or no news, Paul Mooney died a couple of weeks ago.
News. Yeah, news. He was a great guy, and you know, shout out, you know, condolences to him and his family, and you know, he left behind a good legacy, and you know, that's all I can say. Just news, because you know, I think again we have to start giving people their just due and their flowers, and it's only right.
Yeah, I agree. Paul obviously being, I don't know, a wrecking ball on the comedy circuit, and this from not only his stand up material, from his writing, writing most of Richard Pryor's stuff. You know, working with Eddie Murphy, David Chappelle. I mean, this guy was like a god. So it is really sad to see him go. Um, I'm gonna be, you know, brokenhearted a little bit, but he hasn't been out in a while. So um, my condolences to his family about the loss. So he's definitely somebody that was an idol for me. So it was a big deal. All right. I was just checking over some of the things. It looks like we broke the biggest news story of the week. So I want to jump more into some other stuff here. So that's gonna wrap it for us on news and no news, and we're gonna go to around the leagues. And I wanted to start out with Julio. Jones is on the move. I don't know. They must really like Matt Ryan. He must be like a cap friendly guy.
No,
So
that's why they can't.
right. That's what it must be that he's got, because they had a chance to draft 5 quarterbacks. They could have traded for 3. They didn't do anything. All right. So couple things. Again, another Julio story. Huge. You tell me, did he get bagged? I know he got caught, but like, was it a setup? Him telling Jesus Christ.
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, telling Shannon Sharp that he wanted out of Atlanta.
No, I think it's already been everywhere. The rumor mill has been all up. Everybody already knew that he was going to be on the move. I think, but the issue is that he couldn't. If they traded him before June 1st, they would have to eat $20 million in dead salary cap money. Now that it's after June 1st, they can trade him, and then whatever team trades for him, they pay 15 or 16 million dollars of that money. So instead of the Falcons being stuck and trading him sooner, they're waiting to after, and then now they're gonna trade him. So that's the only reason why it worked out that way. And then them restructuring Matt Ryan's deal fucked them, because now he's gonna stay for another year. and you can't move off him because they were in salary cap hell for paying him, paying Julio, and then paying all those defensive guys. You know, they were in a bad spot. So that's why they did it that way. Now, where he goes, I don't know.
Patriots, that was crazy. That was probably the most exciting news that I heard. As you know me, I'm quietly the Patriots stalker.
So now you have Patriots, you have 49ers, you have Seahawks. So the craziest one that I've seen or heard was the Chiefs.
I seen that too. I was like, what in the fuck?
So because if I'm Mahomes, I'm like, yo, go get him.
If I'm anybody, go get bro. They had us, I think, ranked at 32 because we made so many moves, and they were saying like there's enough chance that we could. I'm like, get him in New York, get him anywhere. The only thing is that he's a player. We were just talking about this. That's gonna get you to win, right? So you that lowers the like the field a little bit. You know what I mean?
And the only thing with him is he gets hurt. That's the problem.
But this is my thing, right? And it's more of a hypothesis, but I think that me talking to enough athletes, I kind of have a feeling for this. Bro, if your shit is whack, you're not rushing back. I got to write that down. Is that right? If your shit is whack, you're not rushing back. Bro, if you got like a nagging thing, you probably could play through it. But you're going to be like, why am I going to play through this? I mean, the NFL, or I shouldn't say the NFL, the Lions made Megatron retire. He used to be the dopest thing all the time, and then he started getting injured like crazy. That's kind of weird, right? Getting injured all the time. I mean, if you're on a trashy team and you know you're the best player on the planet, I mean,
but that's like that goes to again to me the individual player. Like I get it, football is a dangerous sport, and at any moment could be your last play. So structure your contract in a way that it's more friendly towards you, and then you be like, all right, listen, I'm out. You know, I can go to another franchise. You know, I can go to a better franchise. I can get, you know, signed. So when you go to sign your max deal, the big max deal, you know, all right, say the first 2 years or the next year is a team, it's for the team, and then the year after that is a player option. We need to start. There's not enough player options in the NFL. Start doing player options and start putting you can't franchise tag me in your contracts. That's what Dak did. Dak said, all right, I'm gonna sign this contract and you can't franchise tag me. Start doing that.
You know how it is in the NFL. If Dak did it, then that's going to be the standard. The problem is that the quarterbacks really steer the truck on that. Running backs and wide receivers really don't. I mean, look what happened this offseason, right? Who would have fuck with us? If I would have told you Corey Davis was going to be the first receiver or for the free agent market, you would have said no fucking way.
But he didn't sign for big money anyway. Like
he signed for big money for what the fuck he's worth, in my opinion. Right?
Well, he got paid 30-something million.
That's a lot. What the fuck have you done?
But again, see him. He played his rookie contract out.
Not that. Then he boogied. Got that.
That's what I'm saying.
I got that. I get all of those things.
But I'm saying take your career into your own hands. Stop signing these max deals and then bitching about the team.
I get that. I'm not arguing that. I agree with you on that. What I'm saying is that when the free agent market sometimes does come up, it's really not as lucrative as you might think. You know, and then signing a max deal with your team at the time, like for example, if Atlanta, I wouldn't say they're garbage. I would say they're 500.
They're garbage, but we disagree. We agree to disagree.
They're 500, right? Matt Ryan, Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones. That was a really good thing for first 2-3 years, right? Then you become besties with fucking with Matt. Maybe you don't want to leave. So you know his first 4, 5, 6 years. I mean, he was dominating. And probably making mad money too. So now he's at the twilight. I shouldn't say twilight because that's offensive, but he's still kind of at the end of his deal.
That is? The twilight is offensive now?
Yeah, well, I mean to athletes because he can still ball, right? Like it's when you say the twilight, you're making it seem like he'll never catch a touchdown ever again. That's not true.
Okay, but he's never been a high touchdown guy anyway, so...
Right, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that just touchdown. I'm talking about dominate the game.
Yeah.
Getting fucking third down catches, getting deep catches, getting catches over guys, the shit that he does, which he still does. I just think that if he went to a new place, obviously it would invigorate him, right? I agree with you that I'm saying that they're not negotiating the contracts to their best ability, but I'm also saying that there's sometimes not a lot of wiggle room for them because quarterbacks rule the league and everybody else gets shitted on.
But dominant players get whatever they want. So if you're a dominant player, leverage.
Yes, but you got leverage on your team.
No, you got leverage on everybody else. Name me a free agent that was a dominant player in the last 10
Randy
years.
Moss, Antonio Brown, Terrell Owens. Come on, bro. All of them.
Okay.
Chad Ochocinco.
Terrell got his money. Randy,
He got kicked out of the fucking.
but I'm saying he got his money. Name me a superstar player that didn't get their money. Is what I'm saying.
I guess you're right. Yeah, because Antonio fucking broke Oakland's bank with that $100 million that he had. I don't think
Exactly. And then he shot himself in the foot.
in the foot.
As I'm saying. So tell me a superstar that didn't get their money. That was a great player. There's none.
That's a fair argument.
If you are a great player at your position,
Julio just wanted the money and stood in Atlanta for nothing.
okay, then don't complain.
Think that's what it is,
Of course he did.
right? So why is he complaining now?
Because that's how they do it, man. Because once you get 80 million in the bank, and then you want to strive for more, then it's all right. Damn, I should have went here. I should have done that. I should have done this in my career. I should have done that in my career. And I don't. To me, I don't get when these superstar players are gonna wake up and do that. Like, stop waiting 10 years later, then say, "Damn, I gotta leave." Start doing that shit when you're younger. Start taking advantage. Start doing. You know who did it? Fantastically great.
Let me see if you're gonna call my team
Deion
now.
Sanders.
I thought you were gonna call Darrell Rivers because Darrell was another one too.
But Darrell only won one.
No. So did Darrell. The only one.
No, I'm saying Darrell only won one. Deion won two or three.
I think he might have won 2 or 3. Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Football in the same week. So
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that he took his talents and leveraged them. He's like, all right, I'm a nomad. I'm going to fucking Dallas. Chip. San Francisco. Chip. You know, like he's leveraging his shit and taking advantage of his shit. Oh, you guys are not paying me what I think I should be worth? All right, I'm playing baseball too. Now I'm playing both. Start leveraging your power and your athleticism.
the players, or do you think it's the management that has them? That's like, yo, don't do that, don't do this. I'll get you the most with this.
It's both. So it's the NFLPA, who is the weakest to me players union out of all the 3 major sports. Almost probably all of the sports. To me, it's the weakest union, and it's I get it. Some of these guys don't come from money. So when you go down to the negotiating table and somebody says, "Hey, here's $80 million over 4 years," that's life-changing money. That's generational wealth to a kid who's never seen 10 grand in front of them or 20 grand in front of them. Now you're handing these guys 50, 60, $70 million checks. It's hard to turn that money down. But these guys need to learn how to leverage their super talent, elite talent status to their advantage. Like, look at Russell Wilson. He could have been a hire for gun, getting paid $40-50 million a year, and went to any team he wanted to. But instead, he took whatever, want to be loyal to the city, loyal to the franchise, and then the franchise doesn't do whatever in its best interest for the team. Look at Aaron Rodgers, another guy, bitching about the GM, bitching about not having having more power, but then you sign that big contract to make you the second or first highest paid quarterback, and then you're bitching. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. That's what I'm saying. Make the leverage on your side.
That makes sense. Okay, so getting back to it, best place for him to win a chip,
The
AC,
Chiefs.
right? That's
The
it.
Chiefs. Yeah.
How about if he went to New England? No chance. They'd have to
No.
wait.
Yeah, they would have to wait. I don't see. I didn't after Cam Newton had COVID, everything went south. So I don't know if he's gonna bounce back. And I think the tight ends of the Patriots are gonna have bigger games, because then if Julio does go, then he's gonna get double. And then you're gonna have Jonnu Smith, and then you're gonna have was it Henry Hunter, right? I think he went there too. So you're gonna have all the underneath stuff working. So, and then they got I think Nelson Aguilar too, if I'm not mistaken. I think they got him for the deep threat. So then like all those guys, they will eat more, because then the focus will shift to Julio. But who knows? Like you didn't go to a championship coach. You never been with a championship coach. But if I was him, I'm like, yo, Patty, get me to KC ASAP.
Make it happen, Jack.
Make that shit happen.
So let's stay in the same story. Move into another area. Would you put Julio Jones to Aaron Rodgers? Would that help that team?
Maybe they need more of like shut down defense. He needs a top 10, top 8 defense. So like what you would trade to get Julio, you would probably have to give up on the defensive side of the ball, and some draft picks. So like, and your defense is already not, top notch. And again, Aaron Rodgers is already at odds with the front office. Period. So like, is he gonna, I don't know, fire?
That's what I was gonna say. So to switch it up, right? Does Aaron where does Aaron go, or is he gonna be playing for Green Bay next season?
I don't know. The way they're making it seem is he needs to go in there, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, and throw a tantrum, like go into thing, throw picks in practice, like yo, this shit is trash. Like, why if you guys drafted a quarterback and you wanted to replace me anyway after the season, so just let me go now. The only reason why you don't want to release me right now is because I won the MVP last year. So you have a hidden agenda because I fucked up your agenda. You thought I was gonna be on a decline. I won the MVP and now everything is out of whack. But my thing is like, he only won one championship in 16 years. Why are you guys holding on to that anyway? Just fucking trade him.
Because that's just their history. That's why that's why the fucking Giants went soft and drafted Daniel Jones, because they wanted to keep that Eli Manning style player. Okay, no problem. We'll be okay. That okie dokie shit. And so,
and they should have gave the farm to Seattle for Russell Wilson.
They should have gave it to anybody. Aaron Rodgers, fucking Russell Wilson. I would even took Matthew Stafford as a Giant.
Yep, I would even do it right now.
Just signed his fucking wide receiver. I would have signed both of them. I'd have been like, listen, here's the picks. We need proven talent now, because young guys don't win in the NFL. Just don't, unless they're on a highly veteran team, a la Russell Wilson, a la Aaron Rodgers. Yep. But outside of that, even Tom Brady, right? Great defensive team. That's how you get lucky as a young guy. If you don't got that great defensive team through the playoffs, you're going to get smoked.
I don't know why wouldn't you just go and get, I would go, if I was the Packers and we spoke about this, I would go and be like, yo, listen, 1 for 1. Give me Deshaun, you take Aaron, and then I'll deal with the consequences of what happens with Deshaun Watson. And you help each other out. Like, even the Texans holding on to Deshaun Watson. Trade Deshaun Watson. Get a king's ransom for him. Aaron Rodgers. Trade Aaron Rodgers. Get a king's ransom for him. Why are you guys holding on to these assets that don't want to be with you? It makes no sense. It's like being with a girl who doesn't want you and is fucking the next nigga in videoing, hey, look, I'm sucking his dick. Look, I don't want to be with you. Like, and you're just like, nah, I still love you. Like, what is going on? Trade these guys. They don't want to be there. Trade them.
The business is crazy. And it's so funny to bring it back into my homie, speaking about paying them. If I'm Lamar Jackson, should I leave?
Well,
I'm not that great to make that kind of move. Because it already looks like, when there's fucking, duck feathers in the air, it looks like
he's going to season 4 this year, right? Is this the fourth year? Okay, so they normally do the contracts around this time. What Patrick Mahomes did was unprecedented.
Yes.
So you can't compare anybody to Patrick Mahomes. He's an anomaly.
The only guy I could compare it to, I would say Russ. Because they're the only two who came in and did that.
But even him, you can't, because Russell Wilson didn't win MVP, didn't win, and then the next year won the Super Bowl.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Patrick Mahomes started 50 touchdowns, MVP, got to the AFC Championship game. Then the next year, won the Super Bowl. And so within 3 years, because his third year, he won a Super Bowl, then you go in early and you pay him. That's an anomaly. That is you don't get a dominant QB to do all of those things. So what Patrick Mahomes did, you just don't even try to compare it to nobody else. Now, if you try to do, you would compare Lamar to like a Josh Allen. They've so far had a similar success. So whatever those guys get paid, are going to be a little bit more than what Dak got paid. Because obviously Josh Allen and Lamar is better than Dak.
Yeah.
So, But I think after this year, the fourth year, is you're gonna be. Then you're gonna see they'll negotiate whatever contract extension, and see what happens. But like again, you have to be worrisome of Lamar's lack of throwing in the postseason, or lack of coming from behind in the regular season. Like once you're down big, like you don't.
To win the game, he just can't. He hasn't produced winning the game through the air.
Yeah, and again, it's young, but when you come out great and show great things, you put a high expectation on yourself, and that's a product of being good.
I guess so, man. That's a trip to be in that situation, because you're talking about so many different positions and what they should be doing. It looks like the best option is just play 4 years in boogie. If it hasn't happened in 4 years, it's probably not gonna happen, right? Because what, Aaron Rodgers, I think, won that chip in that 4-year window, or was it longer?
No, it's fourth year.
Right? Same thing with Russ. So if you can't get it done in those 4 years, it's time to go. I guess 4 years is the lifespan to figure out if that's going to be your home. And I think the same thing too. I mean, you said that they're garbage. If you think they're garbage, I'm sure Julio must know something, right?
Yeah, of course. He saw he made the catch to win the Super Bowl, and they didn't win the Super Bowl. He made a tough catch on the sideline to win the Super Bowl. All they had to do was run the ball 3 plays in a row, or throw it to him 3 times.
Why didn't he bail out then?
Well, he was already signed. He already got the max extension.
There's got to be a different situation where you can like kind of do different things to get out of some of these contracts, because I feel like it's not fair that the ownership could cut you, but you can't cut ownership.
That's
right?
the NFLPA.
I know, I get it. I get you. All right. So I know you've been busy with basketball. Before we get into basketball, you've been watching baseball at all lately, or what?
A little bit.
A little bit. So who's your guy right now? I mean, what are we? We're not even are we a third through the season?
About almost.
Okay. Otani, Tatis, Acuna. How do you like these guys in your ranking?
They're all fantastic, but Otani is just one, just because he's doing it on both sides.
Okay, and then 2 is?
I would go with Tatis, just because Padres have, I think, either the best record or the second best record in the league.
Best record in baseball. Can you freaking believe this shit, bro?
And then Acuna, he's just having a lot of home runs, and it's fantastic. But I think that
too.
the NL East has been trashed, though.
Yes.
Like the entire NL East, Braves, Mets, all of them. Watching, they all suck. Philly suck.
To be honest with you, I've watched some games of Atlanta. I'm not impressed this season.
They all suck.
A lot of the games that they've won have been off of home run hits. It hasn't been off of runs that have been manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I would say I would go Tatis 1, then Otani 2, only because the charisma that Tatis has is just crazy. I mean, he gets a spinning clock. You know, he's got guys like he's really brought a lot of excitement to the organization. I feel like people that watch baseball still don't know that there's a guy in LA doing what he's doing.
Because he's not American, or he's not Hispanic, or like bringing that flair. But when you got a guy pitching a 2 ERA and then batting and hitting home runs and getting on base,
he's unbelievable. Listen, he's a lefty. That you already got me at hello. I think he's the greatest thing. But again, what we talked about, them not celebrating their players enough, that he should be on everything. Like they should have already went to the commercial fucking deal and been like, listen, bro, we need to get you on there. It's crazy how they don't market all of the things. I think maybe the NBA is the only one because these guys have so much bravado that you recognize them. But baseball and football do a terrible job at promoting their athletes.
Yep. Football is a little tough because everybody has helmets on.
Right.
And baseball players have hats on. So NBA, you see their face. But there's ways to get around that and do a thing.
There's 100 fucking different ways.
You
still enjoying MVP, the show?
Oh, yeah. I took a break because it was pissing me off, some of the mechanics of the game.
Oh, my God. I don't understand. Why you got to keep changing shit?
It's like, because, all right, in the bottom left-hand side, it tells you where you hit the ball.
Okay.
So there's a yellow circle like that, right? And then there's a darker yellow circle. So the darker yellow circle is where you put the most contact.
Okay.
Right? So the ball normally lands if in the middle of the dark circle. right? So my understanding is if the ball is literally in the middle of that dark circle, it should be solid contact. Sometimes it's pop-ups to the behind the catcher, or to the first baseman, or to the outfield. And I get it. Like you can't get a hit every single time. It's like it'll be just super unrealistic. But if I'm timing it, this says timing good, and then I'm hitting it where the ball is at. It should be a solid line drive somewhere. Even if it's a line drive to the second baseman or it's a line drive to the outfield, it should be a line drive, not a fucking pop up. And then I lost like 2 games. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just take a break and haven't played since.
Before I can lose my fucking mind playing this game, let me shut it down.
Yep.
Okay, so no other guys making. Actually, you know, I'll throw that kid from the White Sox in there. There are some really good players kicking it off, but I gotta say, both guys live in Los Angeles. I mean, in Southern California, because between Ohtani and Tatis, did you see that split? Sliding into, I mean, the guy is he's probably one of the most athletic players we've seen in a long time.
Yep. And I'm glad that they're letting him be more of him.
Yes. Stop it, baseball. You're fucking killing baseball.
Yep.
I could go on for a fucking hour about this. I just tried to prove it to my friend. He still he didn't disagree. He disagreed with everything. They gotta stop with this bullshit of like. There's just like this stupid thing about baseball. I don't understand why everybody's just so the unwritten rules, all this stuff. Now dudes are getting hit more. Everybody seems to be getting hit more with the pitch. I feel like if you get hit by the pitch, pitches should be warned automatically. And even if you do it by fuck up, right? You're out of the game.
And I'm telling you, until a batter throws the bat at a pitcher,
right, it's not going to change the game. But it has, and they still don't do it. I mean, look at what La Russa did. Can't even hit when they put a relief pitcher in there because there's an unspoken rule, right?
Fuck
like,
that.
what are you talking about, bro? Did he throw the ball? Okay, I hit a home run. That's what happened. When you get a scrub and I'm an all-star, that's
Yep.
what I do. So
because that affects how you get paid at the end of the year.
Yes.
Because then you're gonna go into arbitration and say, "Hey, listen, you know, you batted 2,985 this year. Oh, but I was told when it's 0-3, bases loaded, not to fucking swing the ball.
Yep.
I could have batted 350, but I was told not to swing on some certain things. Yeah, I get that, but still, we're gonna pay you $5 million, and you should be getting paid 25.
It's dirty. The way they do dudes in the pros is just filthy, and in MLB specifically, because they will and deal like nobody's business. They don't fuck around. You don't get like a 5-year. You don't get to play 10 years anywhere. I love it. You know, to me, every time a guy signs a 10-year contract, I'm like, he'll be leaving soon. Every guy they've done it to. The only guy who played most of his contract was Pujols that we remember, and I think Robbie Cano played a good amount of it, but those fuckers bailed too on that shit.
Yep.
All right, let me see what else we got here on Around the Leagues. So I wanted getting back to this other thing. The NBA. What you think so far? You enjoying the playoffs?
The playoff.
All the matches are working out. I mean, you got a lot of guys balling hard. All the superstars are killing it. Whether it's Giannis, Djokovic, Dame, LeBron. I haven't seen a couple of the games. Everybody on the Nets are doing great. So, what are your thoughts overall at this point?
So far it's been exciting. I think they did a good job. I think the fan experience being there is way better than it was in the bubble, with the screens and shit. And to me, it just shows how like some people can't last under pressure. Having fans screaming at you, cheering, home court advantage plays a big part into it. Certain players' palms get sweaty, mistakes happen. Like you playing an empty crowd, nothing's gonna happen. No travel. Travel plays a big part in it. Like going from from one time zone to a different time zone. That all factors into how your body responds and how you recover and how your body's fatigued or not.
That's why I said that even though I'm a big fan of the Dodgers, who are kind of tailing off now, in the sense of their play and how dominant they do play, I didn't think that championship was the same championship. They didn't travel at all. They stood in the same building for like 3 weeks, even though it wasn't their own building, right? We all know the athletes are used to rituals and routines. And if you go into the same place doing the same shit over and over and over again, it's interesting. I was watching, you tell me, because I've seen a couple of things, but I haven't been too dialed. Were the Knicks just lucky this season? Or Did they actually play good, or what happened here in your
Okay.
overall assessment? Because I seen some games that I was like, "What in the fuck is going on here?"
So I want to state for the record, I've been on the right side of this the whole year.
We're gonna get you some right side shirts,
Okay. I didn't believe in the Knicks at all.
right?
I would never bought the Kool-Aid. I never drank the Kool-Aid. I never bought the fallacy.
All of this shit, 40-10, the coach of the year, MVP for Randall.
Nothing.
Man, Derrick Rose coming back. It almost seems like the old Chicago Bulls, by the way.
Julius Randle just didn't show up.
Yeah, what happened? How could you disappear like that?
I guess he would just rested on his laurels of winning 6-man most improved, I think, most improved, and being an all-star, and then just he probably partied a little too hard, and he just wasn't ready. And playoff basketball shit changes. Tendency, they focus on tendencies. You're about to play this team for 2 weeks. All right, every time he goes left, he shoots 75% of the time. Every time he goes right, he shoots 23% of the time. Every time he takes 2 dribbles to his right, he does X, Y, and Z. Once he goes right and does 2 crossovers, he doesn't pass. All these tendencies come up, and you get locked in. And they did a good job of, for whatever reason, keeping him from the rim. He couldn't hit a jump shot to save his life. If your best player is Derrick Rose, you have a problem. You have, I think, Tom Thibodeau got the most out of his team. The only thing I can say, the only silver lining to this whole thing is that when the Knicks do good, NBA basketball feels better. Celtics, Celtics being in the playoffs, NBA feels better. The Lakers being in, these historical franchise, 76ers being in the playoffs. Just the magic of MSG and what the energy of MSG brings. Imagine if KD and Kyrie went to the Knicks. I feel like the MSG energy is better than the Brooklyn Nets energy. Just the stadium and everything. For whatever reason, they pop off the screen, the Garden. But for whatever reason, is superstars don't want to play for the Knicks.
They just don't like all the bullshit, They don't like the Dolan. A lot of celebrities have been burnt there, especially former player alum. It's just a bad place. I mean, I think it was awesome what Thibodeau did, but I
was on the right side of it. I knew that they were just playing above their they were playing with on used time. Like playing above.
I mean, they were building the thing. First of all, yes, I think it was awesome that the Knicks were relevant. Did I understand the fact that it was the Knicks? Yes, I did too. Burning your shit up a little bit. Yeah, I've watched the Knicks do this before multiple times, and the whole thing comes down like a house of cards. But I do think that it's exciting for it to be in New York. I definitely think that it's the Garden. The problem is that are they gonna be able to either find Julius Randle again, or find the guy that could dominate like that? Because obviously their butter was good passing, good defense, and not even good defense because they still allow teams to score 100 on them, which I don't understand really how that works. But and you need 2 dominant players, and they don't have it, and they're not going to get it. And free agency, who's in free agency?
You have Kawhi, but I doubt Kawhi's going to go to the Knicks. And he's playing like shit right now in the Clippers series anyway. He's getting cooked by Luka, so you don't know how that's going to go. But it's going to be tough.
I'm going to say, I hate to say it, but I guess I'll use it for now, and it's probably getting me in trouble. But I think that Kawhi was a little bit overrated, because everybody was saying that he was better than LeBron James. I'm like, that's not even possible.
Yeah, no.
I was like, what are you talking about?
He just, what happens is he just, when you win.
It was circumstance. He fell in the right situation at the right possible place. He went to fucking Canada, where the entire East is garbage, without a LeBron James, right? Then go plays, I don't even know, what would you call that, a third or 2/3 of a team by Golden State? Smoked those fools and won 1 chip, and has never ever gotten back to that. I have not seen him play like that in LA at all.
And he's getting
and they shit in the bed this season again,
and he's getting worked.
I know you're talking about he's getting cooked. That makes me nervous.
Luka's averaging like 33 points against them.
This.
So,
They need to blow up that LA thing, I think, now again.
but
not
again,
working.
you can't. They leverage their future on getting Paul George. You sign into a max contract. You don't have any assets. You paid two other guys, and Luke Kennard and Marcus Morris. All your money's tied up. You know, if you give a max extension to Kawhi, you really have no money. So like, you have nowhere to go. You literally have no flexibility. You give away your next 3 first-round picks. Like, you have nothing. Your only option is to work these guys out and play the buyout market. That's all you could do.
Damn, so that's terrible too. So now you changing your opinion, so it doesn't look like it'll be Clippers then. So who are you taking in the West?
I have no idea. Coming out the West, the way Utah's looking great right now, but they playing the 8th seed, so we gotta wait to the next round. You know,
What do you think about Mabu? Is Mabu killing it?
which one?
LBJ.
Oh no, they might lose tonight and get out the first round. They might lose in the first round.
Wow.
So they play tonight, Game 6.
Down 2-3.
They down 2-3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in the same boat I've been since the series started. I gotta give LeBron James a benefit of doubt just because he's never lost in the first round of the playoffs. So I can't count him out, but it's not looking good.
And they're playing the- right?
They're playing the Suns.
How come the Suns are so fucking good?
Well, this is the problem that people don't understand, right? So DeAndre Ayton was suspended 73 games last year. Reason being, he got an illegal substance for whatever reason. So he was suspended that many games. And then you bring over Chris Paul. So now you have Chris Paul, and now you have DeAndre Ayton coming back. Full squad, revamped roster, good pieces, and they just been balling out.
Baller.
Now, AD's hurt. That doesn't help the Lakers.
Right.
And LeBron isn't, 32 no more. He's not 31. He's 36. A lot of miles on that body. And, who knows? He doesn't have that, I don't know if he has that one game of 40 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists left.
Use that right now. That seems like so early, right?
Exactly. But it's do or die. He's going to have to need possibly 2 of those games back to back because Anthony Davis is not coming back anytime soon because he has a groin strain.
That was a bad investment, right?
That's another guy who's always hurt.
Right.
He's always dinged.
They won one, which was another asterisk, in my opinion, game like championship. And I'm happy that LBJ got more hardware so that some people get off his dick. But yeah, like now you just ran through the whole story with me with the Clippers. They're stuck with AD, right? They can't get out of that fucking situation either, right?
The crazy thing with AD is he hasn't signed a max yet.
Thank God.
So he could bounce, and then LeBron could bounce too. So you never know what could happen.
Come to the Knicks, LeBron. That would be fire. Fucking LeBron. And I'm just saying, Kevin Durant playing LeBron James every other fucking night, that would make New York City, like, you know how much a ticket would cost to watch that game, bro?
I was talking about it last night, right? I was like,
if I was him, that's where I would want to come next. Fuck it.
But he already released a report that his wife didn't want to go to New York. That supposedly he wanted to come to the Knicks, but the wife said, "Nah, I don't want to go to New York." Supposedly, that's what
No, he's been saying it a lot. That's only one report. I got like 4 or 5 that in my brain I could dig up. He's been wanting to go to New York for a long time, and for whatever reason, it's just not.
She was like, "No."
That would be fire. LeBron James and Nick, come on, bro.
That way, revitalize the city.
Not only that, I think like with the role players that they have, that team is better than the LA team. Without like off the bench, you know what I mean?
You just need to bring, you would have to bring somebody else. You would need another guy.
Of course, I'm just saying that they'd be super. Listen, if they did it with the bums and they were 4th in the East, LeBron James, that's number 1.
Like if you really want a crazy ass scenario, what they could do, what could really happen is Steph goes with LeBron to the Knicks.
Oh Jesus Christ, that would be. Then they would really hate LeBron James. That would be so sick. You get those 2 fools in one building. Holy fuck! They'd have to pay their ass off on the luxury tax. Well, I'm gonna try to dig in because I've been trying to. I mean, I've seen all the highlights. What do you think? Actually, before I dip out on this, Giannis, is he playing up to expectations? Because there's huge expectations for this kid. Fucking
The-
next LeBron James, next fucking superstar, blah, blah, blah. I can go on and on and on. I mean, I know he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, but they're not going to go deep, or are they?
Well, I think they play the Nets, so it's gonna be a tough series. The key component is gonna be Drew Holiday. Can Drew Holiday be able to put up at least 20, 25 point, like 20, it needs like 25 points out of him, and great defense on whoever he guards, because he is an elite defender. But that's been the literal turning point, excuse me, of this of from last year to this year, is having Drew Holiday, a guy who's can defend, can shoot, can make smart decisions down the stretch, isn't erratic. You got Chris Middleton who's hit big shots for them all year. They got a good team, but it all depends on how they're gonna play. The Nets play Giannis, and how the Bucks play the Nets. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of expectations, but
Well, next week we'll go in and we'll dive in deeper because this is just a discussion that could constantly get discussed over and over again. I think Joke, they haven't given him out, right? Who's the MVP of the league?
it's him. It's Jokic, but they haven't given it out yet.
They haven't given it out, right? They give out the 6-man and all that other shit because it doesn't matter now, right?
And then defensive, I think it's defensive player of the years next, and then I think then they do the NBA all NBA teams, and then they do the MVP. Which I think is so stupid. They should do it as soon as the day of the last game of the regular season. The very next day, you announce all the winners for all their awards.
I don't understand why they like trickle it out and shit. Like, what are you fucking stupid? Okay, so we're about to get to the end of this bad boy. Another one in the books, I guess. What is it? So 23, that's LBJ's number, right? All right, we got one more. Well, next week, we're going to do our Kobe shit. We're coming hard in the paint for our retro Kobe Bryant 24 episode. But before we get to that, let's do a little Critics Corner and let's go smash the movies. Okay, so this week we decided to do the Angelina Jolie film. Could you look up real quick? Because I knew you were going to like
something went on beyond us, so we all.
because I didn't even give her no love in this department. Angelina Jolie, as you look it up, comes
Those who wish me dead.
Jesus Christ! Not even the name like makes any sense to the fucking movie. Okay. So first of all, the title sounds like a Steven Seagal movie, right? Or like a Jet Li, Jackie Chan, a black exploitation film. Okay, so the time. What was this trashy title again?
Those who wish me dead.
I would fire the executive who greenlight that that title. Okay, so those who wish me dead. Angelina Jolie had some other guys that I guess are not really worth mentioning either. What were your thoughts about the movie?
It's another one of these things where, like, for whatever is HBO Max is doing a fantastic job of starting movies off dope, and then it just being shit directly after the fact. It reminded me of guys or actors and actresses taking on like passion projects. That's what it felt like to me. Like some of these, you had pretty good actors in this fucking movie.
That's what I'm saying. They had some good dudes, and it's gonna sound terrible because right now we're doing our LeBron James shit, and he doesn't always show up. So they got the guy from X-Men who plays Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Who I can't think of his fucking name right now. They get the guy who was on Game of Thrones for a hot minute. They get my guy who played Punisher, John Bethel. How do you say his last name?
Barenthal, something like that. I think it's Barenthal.
John Barenthal in there, right? I thought he was gonna get all crazy and shoot stuff, and then Angelina Jolie, and I'm like, okay, and then boom, nothing. How bullshit was the scene where her jumping off the back of the truck with the
oh man,
with the
parachute.
Bro, as soon as I picked this movie, I'm like, this is gonna be great for Hollow because Hollow's just gonna fucking rip this one to shreds. What do you got?
And then you have her like, all right. Listen, man, I don't want to be sexist and nothing like that, but you have her an elite squad of
I said, come on,
smoke jumpers who need to carry heavy equipment and be able to run through trails and shit like that. like, all right, whatever. Let's say she's the anomaly. First of all, she doesn't even look like she's in shape to be.
No, I was just gonna say, if I was Ronda Rousey, I would be cleaning up in this department. Like, why is she not getting more roles? I would be going to like every acting class possible to get roles like this because this is the popular role now, right? Like,
Yeah.
the female,
Masculine.
yeah, that's just like a gangster gonna fuck up everybody. I remember I told you if you get punched in the face once, disorientation. Punch in the face twice, you might be knocked out. If you're a girl, for sure. And the stuff that I was talking about before were for guys. You saw how he was just pounding her face,
And then she's able to get up. Like, all right. So
yeah,
the concept was pretty cool, whatever. But what I didn't like is that it never got to what the information that he knew. I get it. You could kind of, whatever guess is just
fiction. No one knows what's in the case.
You could kind of get, there's something there, like incriminating information he knows about, senators, judges, whatever. We get it, cool. But I'm like, all right, show the shit. Like, give me some information. Now, I felt like Angelina Jolie's role was completely useless. Like her in the movie was useless.
The whole thing was useless.
Like, and you have supposedly these guys, they fly up ahead. They know exactly where the guy's gonna travel through. They cut him off. They shoot him up, and then, like, if you're an elite task force squad, like I thought that was bullshit. They're gonna give you your 20 men that you asked for because you've completed missions. Now all of a sudden, you got Tyler Perry comes out of left field.
Tyler Perry doing a fucking random guest appearance.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. Tyler Perry's here. Oh, but the client says you have to work with whatever you have. Like, if you have an elite leadership assassin, and he's like, yo, bro, I need 10 people. You're going to give the homeboy 10 people. Like, it just goes down that way.
In real life.
Yeah, I thought John Barretto's wife, that was pretty dope. I think her figuring out how to get away. I liked how they tied in the survival training thing in there. I thought it was a little weird that, like, supposedly the fire was supposed to occupy everybody, but it didn't. Like, it was just stupid. It just burnt past them.
It felt like an incomplete movie.
Yeah.
First, we got Angelina Jolie broken up because she misread a fire, right? And by the way, I like to get my wife kind of tossed up, like excited about this. I don't think that there's no feminine in the elite fire brigade. There's no girls. I don't think there's girls in. So this was definitely fucking fiction. Okay, that starts there. Second of all, we waste this whole like going back in time scene, which is something like the same way you hate freeze framing or the slow motion from Snyder. I hate anybody who does a fucking a dream story,
Like a flashback.
In the middle of the movie, right? Because there was no thing. So basically, this movie could have just been John Bethel, Bretho. I can't even say his fucking name, right? But my man Punisher, right? He could have been doing the thing. Instead, they go and they focus on Angelina Jolie for a little bit. I don't even know why. If the kid had his uncle, why wasn't the uncle more involved? Like, I felt like they had all these random pieces that just never kind of came together. We never got a back. Like, when he sees the car come into the parking lot, he drives away. We didn't even see that. Like, that would have been a better like background story. Like, if you're gonna do a dream sequence, do a dream sequence on the dad, him running away from everybody, getting the information. I thought another thing was, bro, when the guy was shooting behind the car and he got hit by the car, and then he flew, he would have been dead.
Both of them. The kid too.
Everybody would have been dead. Even the guy outside that got hit by the fucking. Do you know how hard a navigator hits a fucking truck? Like, he just flew back. And I was like, oh, and then he gets tossed a pot of water. No, the fire. But you know how he would have been dead. He would have been dying. He just gets up and G Willie it and now starts fighting guys. Like, it's probably HBO Max's worst film.
And like, they try to tie in Justice League. Oh, Mortal
Oh.
Kombat. Oh,
Bro, Justice League is right here, bro. Right here, it's in the middle. It's in the middle. Maybe that's what they were trying to do. They're just like, we're gonna drop Justice League and then a bunch of shitty movies so that people can say how amazing this movie was.
and then like I felt like her character, like it was like nothing. Like it was just like
It was very bare boned. There was nothing like, okay, cool. She wants to like fight with the guys and show that she's a badass, but then that lasted an hour because she gets arrested. Like there was the sequence. This is why I'm telling you, bro. I gotta get my act more together. I think that we can make movies. I'm being serious. It's such a bad job that it's making me feel like if you could do that and make money, I could do that for half the budget, half, and make probably the same.
My thing is like I don't get like height. I don't know why there's not people on set. Like I know the actors have to say, "Yo, this shit is kind of whack." Like
I've been thinking the same thing too, and I don't know if that's true. Because this is the thing. Let's say you do a crazy good scene in your mind, right? You're only seeing pieces of it. That's what I'm telling you. Even if you're working out there every day, you don't get to see the collective, like the way the film is gonna be sent, right? And there's also like, look what happened to Jared Leto. I'm not saying Suicide Squad was dope. He said he shot like an hour worth of footage. They chopped everything. They give him like if you shoot an hour worth of shit, right? And remember, it's up to the guys in the editing room to be like, crap, dope, and then they plug that in and then they try to make a story. What if these guys are doing amazing stuff? And then it's the editors and the director's vision that's fucking up this whole fucking thing.
True.
You know? Because now there's been a new like list, because you were talking about Justice League, a new list comes out about more things that HBO didn't allow him to do. So again, you fucked up. You gave him the money to redo it, and then you still didn't let him redo it the way he wanted to do it. You know? And I'll tell you this, you want to see a movie? I mean, I should say same guy, but did you get a chance to see the zombie movie on Netflix?
Army of the Dead? Yes. Unfortunately. And it's crazy. It's a smash hit for whatever reason.
I think it's a hit.
Oh boy, it's so bad.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, but I think it's a hit only because that opening sequence is fire and it's different, and no one's ever fucking done Vegas zombies, so it's different. I'm not saying, listen, I'm with you. I get it. It was, but now like a movie for me, if that shit is like a 5, I'm excited. That's how bad they are.
I'm telling you, it's the Knicks effect, the New York Knicks effect. Just being relevant is good, and that's what it is with some of these movies.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We need to start fucking trying to figure out maybe how to write one or film one, because this is garbage. That was trash. The guns were dope. I thought those two guys being killers, like the casting was really well done, and then they kind of lost their way somewhere. Besides Angelina Jolie, she's 90 pounds. Sorry, no.
Give me a fit woman, like a CrossFit woman, like an actress.
Like Gina.
Yes, Gina Carano.
That's why she was getting so many roles, because it was believable.
Yeah.
Right? Like when she was yoked in Deadpool, I'm like, that girl might fuck you up. Like
she would have been dope for this movie.
She would have been great. She would have been great, but they don't want that. They want sex and tough. See, that's the thing that pisses me off about the woke feminism. I'm not saying that you're not sexy, but usually sexy and like manly don't go together.
But right? I'm saying like Gina doesn't look like a man. She's just solid.
The way they fucking look at this shit through the lens is like, no, but she's got to be hot. We can't get no like average looking girl. It's not gonna sell, right?
True.
Like, you can make an argument that Rey, as much as she practiced and she did all the things for Star Wars, that person is not believable.
Yeah.
Like,
she was just pretty, and that's it.
That's what they want. They want pretty. So that's why I think the woke feminist, we need to get more people into this role, is kind of stupid, right? That also too, why don't you switch lanes? This would have been an amazing movie for the girl to be black, right? So they made the real hero of the film take the back seat, because the real hero of the film was the pregnant wife, who was black, who should have probably been the star of the show. You get rid of Angelina, you get rid of the fire department bullshit, and now he's with the uncle, and they got the uncle, switch it up. They took the uncle and the kid, and now this badass, chick who's a survival specialist because her husband, and we live in fucking Montana, I'm gonna get him back. That would have been a better movie, but they don't make movies like that.
Yep.
Because she was fucking fools up with a goddamn a rifle.
Yep. I think that would have been way better. Just take out Angelina, because she didn't do anything that was like, all right, jump in the water and then take small breaths of air to survive, like, and then wait.
The only one that I didn't think it was you can't be doing shit like that when you're pregnant. You would have lost that kid. when he was fucking her up, there could have been a loss right there.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just outside of everything else. I'm with you, but outside of everything else, like that one was the one that I was kind of like, okay, I could do that. I can.
But overall, I don't know what they need to do. I don't know what's going on in Hollywood or wherever would. Maybe they.
Imagine that
You
people
ever
were
seen?
gonna pay for these movies, bro. Imagine that. How about imagine that?
I think you would have seen a lot. You know what it is too. You know how like a lot of movies went to DVD. These movies would have went to DVD. I think.
No way. Angelina Jolie has never done a straight to DVD movie in her life. This is the closest she's ever been. A lot of these guys are taking L's. Fucking Chris Pratt is doing a new movie with fucking Amazon. I'm sure they had to pay him a lot, but it's not what he's used to getting fucking paid. These guys just pay. They paid again.
And that movie looks good.
It does look good. They paid, but again, we talking about Amazon. Amazon lets it get done the right way. You know, we just seen Without Remorse. We just did a review. That one was solid. Now they got MGM. Now they could probably redo some other stuff. But Angelina Jolie has never went direct to TV. I forget who else is in another one. But a lot of these actors, everybody's going, you know, straight to the box, or you know, however it's fucking being demand or whatever the fuck they call it now. It's just terrible to see in the movie industry like this. I don't think they would have made us pay, bro. Mortal Kombat. There's no way that shit went straight to
No,
DVD.
and I would, to be honest, that's one, like a lot of these movies I would have not seen to keep it a stack.
No, of course.
Me watching the trailers, I just be like, all right, this movie's gonna be good, or this movie's gonna be bad,
Right.
and I'm like not right 98% of the time. Once I saw the trailer for Mortal Kombat, I said, no shot, this shit's gonna be good.
As soon as I seen it too, I was like, "There's no way."
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
The Justice League was a little bit more confusing. Wonder Woman, I think, was confusing too.
The only reason why I gave merit to Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman 1 was good.
Right? Yeah, I got that. Yeah, no, but 2 was not as good. I watched it again. It was better watching it a second time with a different lens. No distractions. Watching it as a whole, I kind of got it more. There were some holes in the plot, and it was really, really fucking long. Like that's another thing now too. Like these movies are almost 3 hours long. You know, I feel like you could make more movies if you do just a 90-minute joint and then leave people hungry for more. But
unless it's a good film. If you do a good film, look at like Avengers Endgame. It was like 3.5 hours, but it was a good film. Like it was a good.
But I feel like that's the thing, and we got to take this like they did with the Matrix. We got to go backwards. I feel like the franchise shit has to stop. I feel like everybody chasing what Marvel did needs to stop too. Everything doesn't have to be a franchise. Everything doesn't have to have 9 movies. Everything doesn't have to take 20 years to develop one fucking character, right? Like what they did was unthought of. They didn't never. No, I don't even think they knew that they were gonna have an ability to keep people on contract like that, because nobody's done that before. Robert Downey Jr. Everybody hated that shit. No one wanted to be typecasted. No one wanted to be in the same role for 20, 30 years. That's why we've had like fucking 5 Spider-Mans and 5 Batmans and fucking, you know, so many different characters. But to have one cohesive crew work together over 12 films, that's insane. So for me, I'm like, it's an anomaly. Leave it the fuck alone. Stop trying to copy and paste that. You don't have no success with Mortal Kombat, but you tied the actor to 5 fucking movies. Like, bro, the movie hasn't even came out. What are you worried about? Sign them to, and who cares? You got to sign up for more. That's the thing. Everybody tries to buy people on the cheap and end up paying more for them.
That's what it is.
We'll pay them now $90 million because in 2 years when this movie pops, it'll be worth $50 million. Meanwhile, 3 years later, you haven't made a movie that was good in 3 years, and you're still stuck to this guy because you got to make a part 4.
Well, depending on the contract, I'm pretty sure they have like stipulations where, all right, well, we're not making a sequel, so this contract is null and void. Like
that's not true, because what they do is, because it's a Hollywood studio, they're like, okay, no problem. You're not Spider-Man anymore, no problem. Now you Wolverine. Now you Human Torch. I swear to God, that's what happens. There's guys that like MGM will be like, here's a 10-year contract. You do all the movies under us. Any movie we make, you're our guy, right? And you kind of screwed. We've seen some people do that left and right in a couple of different things, but I don't know. I thought it was a noble idea, straight to demand, but HBO hasn't figured it out yet. They got
no bueno.
I'm interested to see what happens with The Conjuring, because that's been a pretty good series up until this point. You know, not You can say whatever, but you know they got rid of the director, they got rid of the inventor, the creator, all these other guys.
Yep.
That's all. All right, that brings us, I think, to the end of the show. Any comments? Any viewers? Any guys hanging out with us? I feel like
we had Lalo. I know. We had Lucho in here.
nice.
He was just saying some shit. And then Brandon was in here.
Oh, nice. Okay, we had a couple. We had a couple of cats. All right, we're gonna see you guys next week. H, tell them what to do. Try to get at us.
Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, so you know when we go live. Make sure you follow us on all handles, airing it out. And thank you for tuning in, showing love, and we see you guys next week.
Yes, thank you guys so much for taking time for sitting with us. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for listening.